And we're back. So we left off with years ago. We had a bro sesh. I want to talk about that really quick before I ask Traver the question. we spent some time at on the Venice Boardwalk. It was awesome. He was in the middle of his Year to Live project. You had just finished your 30 Days of Darkness.
Yep.
But you had not done your TED Talk.
Right.
And so I remember it being like this 4-hour epic thing where we were just talking about where we were and what was going on. And one of the things that we left off with was, can we have it all? In that, you try to project our dream life into the future, right? And for me, it would be working out every day and sharing that with others, teaching it maybe, which is very much what I have now, but also I wanted the freedom to travel wherever I wanted and whenever I wanted and hang out with whatever I wanted. Maybe even if I could have the leverage or the power of bringing friends with me, no matter the budget, and I think you were painting another picture for yourself, but you were in the middle of your thing. But I remember us not only posing the question, but concluding with, we can have it all.
Yeah.
Like, we can have it. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Like, I remember that very distinctly. And I'm going to be honest, man, and in the moment, in the back of my head, I didn't believe it. Like, because it was so like impossible to me and so far away from me, where one of the guys I follow as far as entrepreneurship and stuff, you set goals, but in the back of your head, you're not sure if you can reach them. Like, for the longest time, it took me a while to accept that one, it was okay, and B, you could make something like 10 grand in a month. That was like crazy to me. And then to think of making that passively, and then to thinking of making like 20 to 30 grand a month would be more than enough. But then now it's almost like the fact that it's possible to make over 6 figures a month is crazy to me. But I know it's possible, and I know I'm gonna head in that direction if I'm not heading in that direction already. But my question to you is, how, if at all, has your mind changed in that conclusion, given the evolution of your own projects since then, like your book and your TEDx talk and your Man and Civilized movement and your consulting? Has it changed at all, or has the definition of that we can have it all, has that changed?
Great question. I'll preface that by saying I went to the bathroom at that lunch, and then I came back, and there was a plate of bacon on the table. And that was all you'd ordered as an appetizer, was a plate of bacon. And the people next to us were like, "Did you just order a plate of bacon?" Remember that?
I do remember that. I do remember that. Yes. I do remember that.
That was awesome. I was like, yes, he did.
Yes.
Zed Pasquale.
That's all we need. That's all we need in life.
So we just ate bacon with our hands and
it was
chatted.
the best. It was the best.
Do I think you can have it all? It's a massive question.
Yeah.
I think yes and no.
Okay.
And not to be vague, people have natural strengths and talents. If I were to say right now, you know what? I want to be the starting center on the New York Giants next year. And I'm going to believe in the shit out of myself. I'm going to get everything in alignment. I'm going to hire the best coaches. I'm yada yada. I'm 5'10", 180 pounds. I'm not going to be that.
I understand.
And if that's my definition of all, I don't think so.
Okay.
So it really depends on what is your definition. Like, what does having it all mean to you? Is it, and realistic's a shitty word, is it physically attainable? If I say to have it all to me is a life with no problems, with no pain, that's not possible.
No.
I think the better question is, and so not even the better question, the question is, what do you want and what are you willing to give up for it?
Yes.
Right?
Much better
So
question.
in order to make $100,000 a month, you can't be working at Costco.
No.
You can't be an employee, most likely, unless you're an attorney in a partnership or something else, right? There are very few professions that will pay you over $1 million a year.
Yeah.
So if that is your desired goal and that's part of having it all, you have to then lose the security of your day job. You have to have an idea. You have to have a pathway. You have to have the proclivity to deal with the life that you're going to have to live before you get it all.
Yes.
And so that's really the question. Do I think you can have it all? I think you can have a hell of a lot more than you believe.
Okay.
And two things come into play there. One is believing big. So taking your idea of right? I've made 20 grand in a month.
Yeah.
That's, at one point, that was unbelievable to me.
Yeah.
And I just wrote down on paper, I'm going to make $20,000 in a month with a coaching practice.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that seemed huge.
Yeah.
Then I made $20,000 in a month. And that was, I had reference now. Oh, okay, I can do that. Now it's the question of 50. Then it goes 50 to 90. Then it's $100,000 a month.
Yeah.
So it's a mix of doing the steps and getting some reference. I'm a big fan of reference in all things, right? I can sit here and tell you, I'm going to fantasize about a 450 deadlift.
Sure.
I'm going to think about it every day. I'm going to hire the best coaches. I'm going to read all the books and go to the YouTube channels. But I'm not going to lift.
Right.
Right? So until I hit 315, and then I hit 365, then 395, then 425, then 445, it's hard.
Yeah.
And it is ethereal.
Yeah.
So there's two factors. There's the dream big, and then there's work big, work smart,
Yep.
get coaching,
Yep.
hire people, follow proven systems.
Yeah.
Or, I think for some people, it is simply a matter of right place, right time.
Okay.
Like, we know some very wealthy people that are just like, well, there I was.
Right.
I was the fourth guy that Amazon hired.
Yeah.
I was the secretary.
Yeah.
And now I'm loaded,
Yeah.
etc. I think the dream life, or having it all, is a constant adaptation as well.
Yeah.
Because as you said, I know a lot of entrepreneurs that make $1 million plus a year and don't have a lot of people to hang out with.
Yeah.
They're lonely.
Yeah.
They're isolated.
Mm-hmm.
Having it all isn't what they thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe having it all then needs to be readjusted.
Yes.
So I know this is philosophical and kind of nuanced, and
No, the
not
question was meant for that.
yeah, it's not really dancing around it, but I think no matter what, if you want something, go after it.
Yeah.
Period. Fucking period.
Yeah.
If it's not gonna hurt anybody don't walk out on your family and I'm gonna be an actor, and do that. Like, you have physical responsibilities in the real world.
Yeah.
However, I think people having their paradigm completely shaken up
Yeah.
is a biggie.
Yes.
It's huge, right? I've had people all over the world reach out to me on the Year to Live project and say, God, I wish I could do what you did, or wish I could do what you're doing. Like, well, what do you do now? Oh, I work at so-and-so. Okay, can you quit your job? No. Why not? Because I like it, or because it's blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Okay, do you have any other marketable skill? Because I actually had met a guy who left his house with $75 and hitchhiked all through Mexico down into Central America, and he's been living in Central America for the last 5 years. And he had $75.
Yep.
Do you have $75? Yes. Okay. Then you can do what he did. He did work trade. He did blah, blah, blah. There's ways that the story we're telling ourselves so often is the limiting factor. People say, like, oh, I have kids in really great school. They're in private school. So I could never move to Central America and, pursue my dream of owning a surf lodge. Pull the fucking kids out of school. Let them go into the school of life. Yeah, you just have to be willing to let go of certain things, most of which is the idea that success looks this way.
Yes.
It doesn't look...
No.
Success looks the way that you're fulfilled and happy and inspired.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's bullshit.
Yes.
Right? So, can you have it all?
I like that. You know where I thought you were gonna go with that? I thought you were gonna go with you can define what having it all means, but that is also always fluid. So let's say you decide in January that you could have it all, but it'll take you until maybe September to achieve it. But once you've achieved it, what you think of as all is different in September than in January.
Right.
And what I'm not sure, I guess the question was, what did you think all was then? Is it the same now? And has your mind changed on it?
Yeah, at the time, I remember saying to you, I want to have a life where I can travel and teach. I can do public speeches all over the world. I can do workshops all over the world. I can bring people together to do workshops. I can have clients that are international. And I could be location independent if I wanted to.
Yeah.
I could go anywhere in the world and work. And that is true. I can do that right now. That is my current reality.
Yes.
Is it having it all? No. Are there things that now, since enjoying a very different and amazing life, that I go, I really miss X.
Yeah.
I really miss having a living room. I really miss sleeping in my own bed a lot.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, maybe my definition of having it all has now changed.
Yeah.
I think what's more important for people is to find some truth.
Yeah.
What is it that you really want to do with your life?
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you really want to get after? Okay, you want to be the number one, the highest paid actor in all of Hollywood. Well, you're about a 1 in a 10 million chance.
Yeah.
Does that mean you shouldn't pursue it? No, it doesn't. But does it mean that you could find that same satisfaction with a different expression, or that your expression could find a home that you go, wow, I actually love small theater.
Yeah.
I've done small theater, and God, I get that same rush that I think Tom Cruise must get.
Yeah.
Because so often, I think guys especially, we chase what we see, but we don't know what's behind the curtain.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
That's so common. I
Yeah.
chase money. When I have enough money, I will. When I have the right girl, I will.
Mm-hmm.
When I have the right job, I will.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to see the shift happen where people go, I will, and then I'll have the right girl.
Yes.
I will, then I'll make the money.
Mm-hmm.
I will, then I'll have the right job.
Yeah.
And the I will is a lot of self-generation.
Yes.
It's, oh man, I know who I am. I'm really fucking happy homeless.
Yeah.
Because I know who I am.
Sure.
I'm really happy broke.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really happy. I was really happy living in the woods for a month.
Mm-hmm.
I was happier than I've been in years.
Yeah.
I own nothing. I had a
Yeah.
knife, a water bottle, and a blanket.
Yeah.
Happy.
Yeah.
Right? Then all of a sudden that happiness carried in when I came out into the world, and man, did things flood in and,
Sure.
and start happening quickly.
Amazing, man, because I'm almost ashamed to admit that before we had that talk, I did not think it was possible, or I had given up on believing and accepting that it was possible to have it all. The result of that conversation was that the door was presented to me as real.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can have it all. And I knew that, before your TED Talk and before all that, I knew you were on your way there. And after that, even though I was very happy and my trajectory was in a place of complete fulfillment and complete things that I was working towards for the last several years, I think when I accepted the role of trainer in 2009, 2010, I had accepted that I was going to be in LA for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a twinge of sadness on my part because I love traveling.
Yeah.
I love having the freedom of just picking up and going whenever I want. And I knew I had to give that up back then. And I think I was just used to that acceptance, that the idea of it doesn't have to be like that anymore was not just scary, but unreal to me. Like, it's as unreal as humans flying. It's so, or as unreal as humans growing gills to swim underwater. That's how unreal that was.
Right.
And I hadn't grasped then, on top of my fear of technology and on top of my then hatred of change,
mm-hmm.
and on top of my limiting belief of money being evil and sales being smarmy and business being corrupt, like on top of all those things, how could I have believed that? Like, you can't go in, there's no success from those limiting beliefs.
Right.
So I think the result of that was when I walked away, oh shit, it is possible to have it all. What does that mean? And so now my eyes have been opened. I'm now allowing myself to dive into projects like the Pascal podcast mm-hmm. and YouTube, things that if you had told me 10 years ago I'd be doing, I'd be like, no fucking way. You know what I mean?
Right.
But also, a part of me now is ashamed that, not ashamed, but it's like, I only believed that 10 grand a month could be made as a trainer after Patty believed in it, like after the Mad Lab founder had believed in it.
Right.
I only believed that when I found, the e-commerce space and how exciting it was and how accessible it was and how just time efficient it was and the freedom it could give you. In my head, it's like, you know what, if I could make 20 to 30K a month passive, that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
That would actually take care of operating expenses, and even if I have to reinvest some of that stuff, like, I would still be able to do it from anywhere.
Right.
But in my head, it's like, but should I dare to think that could become 100 grand a month?
Right.
And still I was scared, and still I was like, no fucking way. Until, of course, the guy had a student who was making 100K a month, and I'm like, oh shit. And he goes, actually, you lowballed it. It was actually 140 kind of thing. And so, and at this point now, like that was I think a year later, he was at 458 a month. You know what I mean? Just things like that, and it was from multiple streams. So he's doing all the right things, and that's when I realized like we can be risk takers and pioneers in certain ways, but we are scared to death little ass boys in like other ways that we don't even know.
Right.
You know?
Right,
and
right.
so I was, you know, that shook me up in that we can have it all. That's the thing. We can have it all, and we're chasing it. It was actually, for some of you who don't know, I graduated nursing school in 2009. Yeah, in 2009. It was about $79,000 in debt, right? I pulled a Michael Crichton and said, fuck this. Like, I didn't want to do nursing. I did not pursue nursing, not one day. I did not practice as a nurse. And I chose instead CrossFit, you know, because that's where it just felt right, and my passion was there. But there was no security, no money, no insurance, nothing. We had no idea what the payment structure looked like, what the development looked like. And so I basically took out forbearances on my school loans for 2 years straight, which means that the interest on the loans accrue into the capital, and therefore at the end of the 2 years, my 79K loan became 110 or 110.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand the rules then. I'm only starting to understand the rules now. From my end, what a fucking racket it is.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's like you can't declare bankruptcy as if you were in that same amount of debt as a business. You can't declare bankruptcy, or even as an individual. You can't use the payments regularly that you've made for years as credit.
Yeah.
You can't do anything with it. You are stuck. It is mafia rules, right?
Yeah.
And so, on the other hand, if you're a business and you loan someone $70, right? And I did the math. In order to pay that off on minimum payments, I'd have to pay it off till I'm 55. And by the time it's all said and done, I would have paid off over $300,000.
Yeah.
So if I loaned someone $700 and they paid me back $300, if I loaned someone $70K and they paid me back $300K over time, bravo! So I salute you, business person, as figuring that out. Even though it's like, you know, smarmy, but I don't like that. But always felt trapped. You know, I've always felt the weight of that. I remember being so angry and so resentful of being told that nursing was the way and the thing, and no, I didn't have to do private school, but if I chose community college, it would have been based on a lottery, so I could have been waiting for fucking 10 years. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I was so upset that I chose a life path that was truly not my own. I was upset with myself because I had gone against my instincts and my nature in running my own race. That's why I'm such an adamant person about running my race now, and in my heart and in my soul, Traver, if I continue being a full-time on the floor trainer, I'll peak out at 10 to 12 grand a month, and I'll be happy, but I'll still be stuck with that. It'll still be like $900 a month, where $700 of that is interest.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so
insane.
It's insane, and that is not a life I want for myself. That is not a life I want for my potential unmet wife and unborn children. Like, that is not anything I want, or even for my friends,
Right.
And it's like, well, how do I justify that? If my rent is $1,000, I'm actually paying $1,900 because I'm basically stuck with this forever for the length of a mortgage,
Right.
And so, but just recently, it was actually one of your posts again, where it's like, if something scares you or if something makes you nervous, that is a worthy goal. It is a worthy chase.
Yeah.
And basically you put it out there and you challenged us. I forgot which Instagram post it was. I want to find it now, but it's basically, if you have a goal, declare it.
Yeah.
If it's scary, it is real, it is worth pursuing. That is the one you should do. Not the one you're
right.
Not the one that you are comfortable with, but the one that you are scared of, and the one that excites you, kind of thing. And I'm like, and I felt it in my heart. I felt it in my head, and I was like, oh fuck, because the switch was immediate.
Yeah.
I went from, I am stuck with this for the rest of my life. I've been stuck with this for the last almost 10 years, and it has not moved. The principle has not moved. It's still 100K.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so, but then once I see what's possible, and it's kind of like, well, Zeb, what is it you want all this money for? Like, what do you want all this money? It's like, that is not the money that I want.
Right.
It is the opportunity to discover what makes me happy. It is the freedom that it can buy you.
Yeah.
And simply put, in today's world, unless you have a better solution, the richer you are, the freer you are.
Yeah.
And so I said, under your Instagram, I said, in sight of gods and men,
yeah,
I will be debt free
Great.
in 2018.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just saying it out loud right now is so fucking terrifying to me. But I can also say with that same elation that I am on my way. I'm on my way there. It would be fantastic if I could pay off the 100K debt in one paycheck. Like that's one of my goals, right? By the way things are going, like by November, December. If I could get like a high 5, low 6 digit check, a part of me wants to just be like paid off and be done with it. Even though arguments can be made that I might actually be losing money in paying that off. But either way, the math is the math. Yeah, exactly. It's the principle, right?
Yeah.
So, because originally my goal was to be, have passive income and travel wherever I want. But it's like, fuck, I can do that and still do that. I can build the passive income to crazy amounts and just pay off the school debt from fucking Santorini, Greece. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or after we have lunch in Paris or some shit.
Right.
So that's what I mean in that we can have it all. You are always in a state of transition, and that what that means is fluid.
Yeah.
But that doesn't change the fact that you can have it.
Yeah.
So there's that. And the preface is also important. You should have an enormous self audit. Yeah. And be like, if I wanted to play in the NBA, I'm 5'8", I'm 168, 169 pounds. I'm 5'8". If I hire the best coaches and read all the books, I will not be playing in the NBA.
Right.
I will not be in the NFL.
Right.
I think I would have made a decent city level Olympic lifter. Yeah. For my weight and everything, but I would not have like run cross country at a certain level. So yeah, once you accept, remember it's about being in harmony with nature.
Yeah. Don't
try to like out and out break those laws. But there's always like there are people who are born with certain talents and people who the talents and the desires are not always met, right? So yes, take account of what you are good at and what it is you want to do and are very passionate about. And if you can bridge those two things in America today, 2018, there is no excuse that you are not winning. Yeah. Right? There's no excuse for you to not be on your way, or at least in pursuit of that noble goal or what you actually can be. You have went to school and completely rejected the promise of that school, right? You went to acupuncture school. Mm-hmm. You still practice, but not to the extent or expectation of what it was when you entered that
not at
school,
all.
Right?
No, I have a very small private practice of like 6 patients.
Yeah.
And when I travel, I bring needles with me and set up shop because I love the medicine.
Yes.
Other than that, it's like my gift. That being said, it colors every way that I coach. Mm-hmm. It colors my own health, mm-hmm. and it colors every client that I have because I speak from the principles.
Okay.
So Chinese medicine laid a massive foundation for me.
Yeah.
I just don't do the actual. I haven't written an herbal prescription in years, and that was 2 years of my life.
Yeah.
I was memorizing. Something to go back to. You talked about with fear.
Yes.
Right. So a lot of times when you ask people, can you have it all? I ask all of my Man Uncivilized clients, where do you want to be in 3 months? Mm-hmm. Like, talk to me about your life, about what is this magical transformation that you want to experience. Tell me about where that guy is 90 days from now. Now, tell me what scares the shit out of you about that. Mm-hmm. And there's always something. And I'll color that by saying, before I launched this program, it was an idea.
Yeah.
And I got on the phone with a guy who I have massive, massive respect for because he is an African-American, gay, Harvard-trained scientist.
Awesome.
So he's like, do you have any idea what my life is like? I'm the blackest guy in the room, the gayest guy in the room, and the smartest guy in the room.
Awesome.
In most rooms. So my life has not been that easy growing up.
Yeah.
He listened to what I wanted to do. I laid it out for him and was like, here are my fucking ideas. This is it. This is where I see. And he stopped and said, do you have any idea of the potential impact you can make in the world?
Yeah.
And I said, no. He said, well, let me fucking tell you.
Yeah.
I've never heard anything like this before in my life, and I know 1,000 guys who could use it.
Yeah.
And I hung up the phone, I got in bed, and I pulled the covers over my head for about 24 hours in terror. of, because if the program blows up to the way it will take a life of its own.
Yes.
It will take me with it.
Yeah.
And so therefore, any crack in my own personal armor is going to be exposed. My life is going to become public.
Yeah.
I am going to become public.
Right.
Any mistake I make is going to become public. Oh shit, am I willing to take that on? That, I had to literally reconcile that and go, okay, this is bigger than me. I'm willing to have whatever. I'm willing to get the arrows in my back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to get the fuck you emails online from strangers. I'm willing to have people think I'm a misogynist, despite the opposite. So I can ask that question honestly, because I'm telling these guys, like, hey, what are you scared of?
Yeah.
What scares the shit out of you about being out of debt?
Yeah.
Holy fuck, I've never thought of it that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what scares the shit out of me? I could get back in debt. And then I failed twice.
Okay. Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
holy shit. I could move into a bigger house.
Yeah.
And on some level, that means people may not like me.
I see.
All the guys that I hang out with that are broke and are in debt, they're my friends.
Yeah.
If I suddenly go up here,
you're leveling up.
I'm going to be alone.
Yeah.
Right? And so there is that. That's a great question of where is it? What does having it all mean to you?
Yeah.
And then what does that scare the shit out of you?
Can you deal with the consequences? It's like
Yes.
the question stopped at can you do it? It never addressed. It never addressed the assumption that it can be done and what happens afterwards.
And that there's a human that has to go through the experience of this much change.
Yeah.
And it has to go through the experience of having it all, and then what are the new inherent problems with having it all? Because it's like we all have 100 problems. Whether you're broke or a billionaire, you got 100 problems.
Yes.
They're just different.
Yeah.
And are you willing to let go of the problems you have in lieu of getting the new ones?
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, that's a scary proposition because they're comfortable with the 100 problems they have. They know them.
Yeah, fear of success is as real as fear of failure.
100%.
Sure.
I felt it that day lying in bed just going, oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I don't know if I want this.
You knew.
Yeah.
You knew.
I had an inherent sense that, okay, this is big.
Yeah, the closest thing I have to that is in 2013 when I knew I knew the next step was opening up a gym of my own.
Mm-hmm.
I got so scared and so for the first time in my life lonely. I had never felt loneliness before then. You know, cuz I love solitude. I'm an only child. I'm used to it. But and people will tell me, you know, it's like I felt lonely or I feel I actually don't know or I didn't know pre 2013 what loneliness felt like because
That's incredible.
Yeah, I felt so I spent so much of my life fighting to be alone or fighting to be left alone.
Wow.
Fighting to be left to my own designs and be left to my own volition. It's either like I always felt like it was either people telling me what to do or me being accountable to somebody else's orders, whether it was my parents or the demands of an organization or something.
Right.
So, and I was never wanting of love and relationships. Like, thankfully, I'm very thankful for that. I even as a CrossFit trainer, it has only magnified that, right?
Yeah.
So there's no wanting or loss in fulfilling meaningful relationships in that respect.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful for that. But it didn't occur to me. It's like, why am I feeling this? This is such an alien, terrible feeling. I can't believe people feel this on a daily basis sometimes. You know?
Yeah.
But then when I come back, I realize that it was actually my mind prepping me for leadership, and it was my mind prepping me for ownership.
Yeah.
Because to be a leader in a field, or to be an entrepreneur, or to take the charge in something, or to pick up a burden and face the dark and walk into it willingly is lonely. And you alone are responsible. And you can have support and friends, but the decision is yours. The consequences are yours.
Yeah.
People look to you.
Yeah.
And that is a lonely position.
Right.
And if you don't know how to handle that and to navigate it the same way you handle and navigate anger, fear, then you
skillfully.
Yes, skillfully.
Skillfully.
Yeah, you will be lacking in an essential skill for that position.
Yeah.
And so you will not be fit for leadership, or you will not be fit for ownership. And you know, I understood. It took me a little bit to understand it, but once you understand, it's like, okay, just like how, like taking space, or what did you call it?
Holding space.
Holding space in the midst of, for lack of a better word, the chaos
Right.
of the emotional roller coaster of the feminine.
Right.
So you must learn to hold space in the midst of your own loneliness or your own self-doubt.
Yeah, your own emotional chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I remember asking. I tell this story a bunch. I remember asking my old business partner Eric the night before we opened the gym.
Yeah.
We were sitting on the couch in Santa Barbara, and I remember he had a martini, and I was like, "Are you ready for your life to change forever?"
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like, "Yeah, I guess so." You know?
Yeah.
And I knew.
Yeah.
And I had that same conversation with myself the night before I got on social media and launched Man Uncivilized.
Yeah.
Like, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Can you hold space for, like, you almost separate from yourself.
Yes.
And go, somebody's got to pay the piper here.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's going to take the shit and going to get the accolades. Or that's going to be me. But since I can say those words, there's someone behind the curtain there going, it's okay, I got you. No matter what, this is going to be an interesting ride. I can hold for it.
Yeah.
I can hold all of it. I got it. All right, let's do it.
Yeah, I for the longest time, because you like writing, I like
Mm-hmm.
writing. Some of the best works I feel like I've ever produced was for the blog of a gym,
Mm-hmm.
right? Either CrossFit LA or Paradiso or Nerd or
Mm-hmm.
even Spry. But I remember in the beginning, what we write is so personal
Mm-hmm.
and so vulnerable, like what
Mm-hmm.
you're just talking about right now, how you'll be exposed.
Right?
It is scary as shit. So like
Mhm.
before you press the submit button
Mhm.
or whatever,
Mhm.
so I remember it would take like 4 or 5 hours, the energy that it would take to write something that personal and that deep and that cogent to your standards.
Yeah.
That's different. I feel like that's different than the actual resolve it takes to publish it to the world, right? To make it public and to lay yourself bare for
Yeah.
criticisms of all types.
Yeah.
And I would say only through sheer repetition
Yeah.
and sheer repeated voluntary submissions of this vulnerability
Yeah.
are you used to it. And like the leadership code that I subscribe to is
Yeah.
very much geared towards that. Leadership is risk. Just
100%.
like just like the way entrepreneurship is risk. It
Yeah.
is taking a stand, and in taking a stand, drawing fire.
Right.
But also it also inspires, and
Right.
and people will see it and will follow you
Right. Absolutely.
because you are embodying in that moment through that action things that they themselves want to do, but they need permission to do.
Yeah, definitely.
That is so much of leadership, I feel.
Yeah, it's not talked about how much leading is risky.
Right.
Right. So I'll talk to guys and say, well, why didn't you plan the dinner?
Yeah.
On a date? Like, why
Yeah.
didn't you even pick the restaurant?
Yeah.
Like, well, what if she didn't like it? Like, you're just unwilling to take a risk.
Right.
That's why.
Right.
And we have beaten, to get back to men, men have gotten to a point where we feel so beaten down
Yeah.
that you're not allowed to make a mistake.
Oh.
Somehow the collective has decided, even men have decided, you can't fuck up.
Yes.
So then people aren't risking.
Yeah.
They're not reaching out. They're not going for it.
Oh.
Even in the most minute things, such as picking dinner for your date.
It's part of our culture now. Like I remember now. I remember there was political correctness and its rise, which gave rise to the kind of conspicuous zero tolerance policies picked up by so many companies and the military. It's like you have one fuck up or even 3 strikes or whatever.
Right.
And so this is not to excuse behavior that should not be condoned, but it also has a negative. It also has the effect of you don't swing and hit a home run on your first at bat,
Right.
second at bat,
Right.
third at bat, fourth at bat. It takes like however many, you know what I mean?
Right.
And to take that opportunity away is terrifying, and to instill it as a mindset in the culture of what's supposed to be the country of rugged individualism is terrible.
Yeah.
And so that's why I have so much hope for Man Uncivilized movement and you.
Thank you.
And that's why I listen to Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro, like all of these guys, and even to another extent, the Tony Robbins stuff is
Right.
is so needed.
Right.
I feel like, and it's so liberating and it's so natural that every person can be a leader. And what I mean is, it doesn't mean that you have to be the boss or you need the title of CEO or the title
Not at
of
all.
like
You're a leader. You're a leader in your family.
Right.
You're a leader in your life. Yeah.
Right. And
100%.
yeah, it's like every act is or every decision that you make is essentially a reflection of the fact that every day you are essentially taking hundreds of risks.
Yeah.
You know, every decision you make is a risk because
Right.
you will choose to do something or gain something or take an action that otherwise would have been a non-action or some other action.
Absolutely.
And if people can't recognize that, you don't look at the top predators on the hunt, and it's not like if they see an opportunity, they go for it, whether they win or lose.
Right.
And the best of the best, 60%. You know what I mean? And that's
Yeah.
saying something.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I would have missed that bird
Right.
if I just swung and missed. No,
Right.
it's like just go for it. You
You
know,
gotta go for it.
it's a natural thing. Like you don't tell babies that they're fuck ups when they can't walk their first go.
Right.
The best learners of all, right?
Yeah, and guys today, you know, for one of the ways I position this to a lot of these guys, because they say, like, I've lost my mojo.
Mhm.
I'm like, you lost your balls.
Yes.
And it's not the most colorful way to say it, but I say it, you've lost your fucking balls.
Yeah.
You've got to take risk in the world.
Yes.
Nothing is going to happen unless you step out in that field.
Right.
You've got to risk failing.
Yes.
And then realize that so much of what you're afraid of is just your own mind.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else is worried about their goddamn phones.
Yeah.
So just do this thing that you want to do.
Yeah.
Right? Start. Reach down and find them.
Yes.
We're so lost up in our heads, staring at constant media and influx and information, that we're completely disconnected from both our hearts and our balls.
Yes.
And you take a man who's integrated in all three. I can think my way through a problem. I can feel the energy of the room and the person in front of me. And I can reach down and go, I'm going to fucking go get that.
Yes.
I'm going to go build that. And holy shit, you've got a warrior that's so rare in America today.
Yes. It actually doesn't even take a lot today. Like, all it would take is for someone, it's as simple an act as taking a stand on something. In a classroom or in a corporate
Yeah.
setting or in your own home or in your own head.
Yeah.
Like, I will stand for this no more.
Right.
I will take this no more. And I will do one of the things that I just like reread it on the leadership code, the Rogue Warriors leadership code is, I will be crystal clear what I believe, and I will risk everything I have for this belief. And when I read that, I was like, God damn, that is extreme, and that is,
Yeah, it's intense.
you know, that's intense. And, you know, I read that when I was like 15, 16, but it makes so much sense. Look at the people you admire, and look at the leaders who stand out.
Right.
I promise at some point they had to risk it all. And what's beautiful about that, though, is it becomes habit.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? I've risked it all and lost it all multiple times.
Mhm.
And it becomes a skill set. I was talking about how nursing, as I was growing up, nursing represented to me the what the Filipino culture recognized or concluded as the epitome of the American dream. Because they're very hospitable, very nice,
Right.
but are also risk averse.
Oh.
Nurses make enough money, not as much as doctors,
Right.
but much more than just minimum wage.
Right.
They do not have the responsibility of doctors because responsibility is fucking risk.
Mm-hmm.
And they can go anywhere. They have a job anywhere. There's a shortage. It had nothing to do with the caring nature of nursing, with any of that. And it had everything to do with the fact that it is safe. They prize safety. And I was having this talk with at a dinner where, you know, it's oh man, this is like hard for me to say, but growing up, it was such an important thing, and it was such a prized thing to be a nurse as a Filipino, that, you know, it's like it was hard for me to reconcile at what age or when is a person accountable for their own decisions. Is it 5? Is it 10? Is it 12? When it's like, you will be this, like,
Right.
nurse, you know what I mean? And so
Right.
as an adult, you're just like, it's subconsciously all you knew. And no matter how much good I do or have done, no matter how many people's lives I've changed for the positive,
Mhm.
and no matter how big I become or how much power or influence I gain, no matter how much leverage or wealth I gain, none of that, I cannot help but to think that none of that will count as the same as being a nurse to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think the reason why is because being a nurse to them is safe, but being rich and being free is not safe.
Different value system.
It
Yeah.
is as risky and as dangerous as being dirt fucking poor.
Right.
Because the 1%, the metrics don't change, but the rosters change all the time.
Right.
Billionaires lose and make fortunes on a fucking daily basis.
Yeah.
The only difference is they know how to make it back.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's the mindset that I think I'm chasing, because that's the freedom abundance mindset.
Right,
That's
right.
not the safety mindset, you know? And it was so beautiful to me where I heard that you are not in love with the goal that you're chasing. You are happy and are fulfilled by the person you're becoming in attaining that goal.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh man, if I took right now, if I froze all your assets and took all your money and changed your face, and tomorrow you were left with nothing, could you rebuild Man Uncivilized as it is right now, like that,
in a heartbeat?
Because it's still you.
It's in my blood.
Yes.
Yeah, it's in my fucking
You know what I mean?
blood.
That's
man.
what's and I can
Yeah.
pose that question
Yeah.
to a billionaire. I can pose
Yeah.
that question to the head of Apple, to Zuckerberg. Like
Yeah.
I can pose that question to anybody, even to myself. Like could I gain what I have right now? The shit that I'm good at, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. Yeah, like in an instant, because that's a skill set and that's what you've become.
Yeah.
It's such a glorious thing, and that brings us back to the whole, people who make 40 or 50K a year win the lotto, and back inside of a year they're back at 40 or 50K, if not worse.
They're worse.
Because they don't have the
statistically they're
yes,
worse.
Yes, they don't have
Right.
the mindset or the skill set to deal with the success.
Right. That they have to go through as a human.
Yes.
The money is there. The money's now, there's a different number in their account, but the humanity hasn't been skilled.
Yes.
How do you oh wow, you have to have a whole new set of boundaries.
Yeah.
Boundaries for and boundaries against.
Yes.
All these people that now feel entitled to that money. Your own spending habits.
Mhm.
It's humans go through change as their lives change around them.
Yeah.
And their lives change around them as they go through change.
Yeah.
But oftentimes a stimulus comes and blows our world either up or down.
Yes.
We as the physical human then devolve or evolve.
Yes.
And that's hard for people to grasp.
It's so, and this is a lesson I'm literally in the middle of learning right now. But Beyonce and Bruce Springsteen, at the beginning of their musical career, could not take the same gigs as if they were giant megastar seat fillers for stadiums. You know,
Mhm.
it's like every day you have to get out there and hustle and play for free or hand out like
Yeah.
demo tapes.
Yeah.
But you don't do that when you're platinum.
Right.
Like you don't do that when you've got shit lined up. You know, you can do
Yeah.
it once in a while,
Right.
for sure. Like I know that with we're exceptions. It is not the rule, and you're not out there trying to give away the Man Uncivilized program for free.
No.
Because it has proven its worth in the market.
Right.
So and so it is there, and it takes a different skill to it's like a major ball player has different boundaries and
Yeah.
a different skill set than the little leagues.
Right.
And so a 40K, 50K a year employee plays by different rules than a 40 or 50K per month earning entrepreneur.
Yeah. And they have different stresses.
Different stresses, right?
Right.
Right.
Very different stresses.
Yes. One is the loss of security, where one is the loss of freedom or the loss of time.
Yeah. 100%.
And so that's kind of the, it's awesome, man. Like I'm so glad that you're on that path, and
Thank you.
I'm right there.
Thank you.
And yeah, it's insane. Which is a good segue, because
Sure.
everyone knows we are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with.
Sure.
Are your 5 people right now congruent with your short-term goals, long-term goals, and overall vision? If not, who should they be?
100%.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. I have, and it's really fascinating, Zeb. When I chose to sell the gym
Yeah.
and leave it, my friend group changed drastically.
Yeah.
So my core, like I've had a core group of guys from high school that have been, we all grew up on the same street and we played soccer together as kids.
Yeah.
And boom, we've stuck together.
Yeah.
Everybody else around me changed
Yeah.
to the point of like the guy I see most right now in my life is another TED speaker.
Wow.
We met at TEDx Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
I talked to the day after my ex took off. I sat down with a woman and said, I need to be on stages. I need to speak. This part of my life has now evolved and has come up and it's undeniable.
Mhm.
Can you help me?
Yeah.
And I had probably spoken to her 4 times in my life since that, or before that day. And we talk twice a week now.
Awesome.
And have for the last 2.5 years. Yeah. It's that's another thing we can talk about. Success and failure is when you make a big decision and you put a stake in the ground, right? Period, fucking period. This
Yep.
is what I'm doing. The people around you change.
Yes, very much.
There's a great quote by the guy who does the minimalists, Joshua something. You can't change the people around you, but you can change the people around you.
Yes.
Right?
For sure.
And they definitely change. Yeah, so the 5 people around me now are exactly this: entrepreneurs,
Yep.
speakers,
Yep.
authors,
Awesome.
people that get it,
Yes.
right? Because you have to have the same people. I love the Brene Brown when she talked about, when I get criticism, the first thing I ask myself is this person in the arena?
Right.
If they're not, I don't give a fuck what they think.
Yes.
Right. And I've had that dozens of times where people have reached out and said, like, your blog sucked. I'm like, cool, let me see yours.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have one?
Yeah.
Yeah, enjoy a bowl of dick.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thanks for your comment.
Sure.
Whether that's a family member
Yeah.
or someone that I don't know.
Yeah.
Either way,
Yeah.
it's, hey, let me see what you're putting out into the world publicly.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nothing? Then your opinion literally means jack shit to me.
Yes.
Because you don't know the experience that I go through
Right.
every time I push publish,
Yeah.
or every time I post a video, every time I actually take the risk of putting my words and ideas and face into the world.
Yes. It's, dude, so many people, and oh God, it's like so many people spend time of trying to avoid criticism or trying to avoid pissing people off, and the being successful is the opposite. And I know at the highest levels, you will on average piss off 3 to 5 people, you know, if you're that big, you know,
Yeah.
and that is
matter.
exactly, yeah, that is not something to change. That is a side effect
Right.
of success. That is not like the first order concern.
Right.
Like, let me just go punch someone in the face for no reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to take a stand is to necessarily disagree with somebody else's stand.
100%.
And you know, and and it's a tell. I think the amount of people that you piss off, you know, take it as you want. It's a tell of how big you are. Like, there's no person that I can think of, or even mentors of mine who have not accepted that about their fame,
Yep.
you know, or about their influence.
Yep.
You know, so even I myself, and it reveals itself in the smallest ways, and usually it's from your friends and family, you know, but what I mean is, people, with my circle, people respect me enough in that I actually don't get as much criticism as I expect from the choices that I make and the things that I say. But I think it's because I've earned very much the respect of everyone around me. But that being said, I know that will not last. I know at some point the leverage of my reach will be more than my Dunbar number can hold. Like,
Yeah.
with the number that you naturally can support as a church, it's like 100 people or 150.
Right.
And I wasn't ready for that before, but
Mhm.
now I've just kind of accepted that as the case. You know, like, everything from, you know, for me liking The Fountainhead from Ayn Rand to my business entrepreneurship mentor being Jordan Belfort,
Right.
to all those things, and it's just like, oh yeah, I could see it on people's faces, but I'm like, I don't give a fuck. This is the Zeb Pasquale show,
Right.
and this is my race,
Yeah.
not your race. Every time I've tried to run somebody else's race, it has been so
It's an epic failure.
It's just in flames.
Yeah.
And if I'm gonna fail, I might as well fail at something that I want to do,
100%.
something that I want, you know. And so, yeah, man, it's the mindset and the rules are so different. Like, taking a stand and doing something because you love it, not because you feel like you are obligated to, you know, under coercion or some kind of misplaced like loyalty. you
No.
know?
A good mentor of mine posed it this way. When I first started the Year to Live project, he's like, oh, you're going to shake a bunch of people up. I said, your new metric of success,
Yeah.
is how many arrows you have sticking out of your back
Yeah.
at the end of a week.
Yes.
And that was monumental.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit. Oh wow. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Yeah.
And when and how many.
Yes.
And can you handle that?
Mhm.
Right? And you can handle it when you said, you know, not something that you feel obligated to. I don't feel obligated to do this.
No.
I can't not do
Can't
it.
not do it.
And that's I'm a can't notter.
Yes.
Right? And there's certain things, everything in my life that I've done of importance, from fighting
Mhm.
to opening a gym to going to acupuncture school, where I just can't not do this.
Right.
I've tried not to.
Right.
I fought it. I put it to the side. I told myself I wouldn't do it.
Yep.
And fuck, here I am standing going, okay, I'll do it.
Yes.
I have to do it. I
Yeah.
can't not do it.
Oh man, it's not just acting in accordance and harmony with nature, but in accordance and harmony with your own nature.
It's beautiful.
You know, it's
100%.
And when you're there, man, it's so natural and easy, and people can see that.
Yeah.
People, I think, want that. They want permission to do that, but they've been beat down.
Oh, so
you know,
much.
for years. And so, for example, undertaking this, as of this speaking, I have 2 families who who basically is on this journey with me. One is by, it's like we kind of found it on our own, but once we realized we were doing it, it's like, oh shit, and so I talk to them almost every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's exciting and it's cool because I remember several weeks ago I felt alone again, but you're used to it now. Like, I want someone to be accountable to, aside from myself. I want there to be, it's almost like writing the workout times on the whiteboard. What do your sales look like this month? Or what is your income like? Where are you in the process?
Right.
I wanted someone to be accountable to, and I wanted someone to help me be accountable.
Yeah.
Like a mastermind. Like a group.
Yeah.
And so inside of a few weeks, nothing, but then all of a sudden it happens super fast.
Right.
All of a sudden, out of the woodwork, here they fucking come.
Right.
One is not even in this state.
Yeah.
But then, it's like attracts like, no matter what.
Yeah.
So I had forgotten about that rule because I was like, okay, I'm fucking alone then.
Yeah.
Because it's very difficult for me to find a blueprint for what it is I'm trying to achieve, in that I want to be a beastly physical specimen of an athlete, just like a physical culturist. I want to enjoy the freedom of traveling and pursuing my own interest with impunity. You know what I mean? And it's either the people I found is either one or the other.
Yeah.
It's either they're rich but fat and out of shape, or they're beasts and struggling to pay rent and buy a house.
Right.
And I want both, and like even appearance wise, The Rock is the closest thing I can find now as far as like what I'm like trying to do. 'Cause I don't know if you subscribe to his stuff.
Yeah.
But he is so fantastic.
He's so awesome.
It's like the man can do almost no wrong at this point.
Yeah.
He could run for president, and unless the hate groups are successful in trying to assassinate the guy, I actually think he'll win.
He will be president if he wants to.
Exactly.
I'm putting what day is it?
It is.
It's February something.
It's February 13th.
2018. 2018.
Yes.
We are declaring it on the Zeb Pasquale show.
Yes.
That The Rock will be president. It's just like we're a Simpsons episode.
Yes,
from
dude.
10 years ago.
Yes. Oh man. And so, those are one of just the many lessons. And I was sad for 2 seconds. It's like, fuck, I don't have anyone to model. I've always had someone to model, or always had someone to mentor me.
Yeah.
But it's like, all right, I'm fucking alone.
Yeah.
I have to create it myself. And plus, I think that was right at the cusp of, I'm scared to declare 6 digits a month as my goal, passive.
Right.
But then fucking somebody did it. And I'm like,
someone's done it.
Fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was scared no more. Like,
yeah.
I will be out of debt in 2018. I will achieve it through the use of the entrepreneurial space.
Yeah.
I will still and always be a physical culture enthusiast and teacher, and coach. I will always be that. What form it takes as the years go on, who knows?
Yeah.
But I think accepting that, and plus what you said about a person has to grow into their role, or at least level up before they're there.
Yeah.
Like in wartime, I believe in essentially what's called wartime promotions. Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a private could be out there fighting, and his lieutenants and his sergeants are out there fucking dying. So guess what? If he's the best person, he gets promoted.
Yeah.
And I think that's better. So I learned this actually from GC Grant Cardone, where it's like, you hit a home run, a lot of people think that's it, that they'll retire, but no, you have to play.
Right.
And you have to play harder than you ever played.
Right.
And that's so true. So and it's that dance in that, okay, I'm essentially ready to grow, and the situation happens. It's like, you're either going to rise to it or you're not, or you're already there mentally. The opportunity just has not presented itself yet.
Yeah.
Though
timing.
Yeah. And I think those two things in the vectors that we're on, those two things happen all the time.
Yeah.
It's are you ready for a TED Talk? Yeah. Are you ready to meet a person who's just by knowing them, networking, will present you with like 10 other TED Talks in 3 months?
Right.
Oh, fuck. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah, once you commit fully, so much shit happens. That's why I don't believe in luck or coincidence anymore,
And you made such a good point about aligning with your nature.
Yes.
It's huge that even when I was doing divorce coaching, I didn't know it till I was done, and I went and opened Man Uncivilized, that a bunch of my friends were like, yeah, we just didn't see you in that.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't really fit. And I even had a mentor I was in this storytelling. I'm in a storytelling mastermind group, and presented this idea like, hey, here's what I'm doing, and this mentor in front of everybody said, don't worry, you won't be doing that for too long. And I was like, you can go fuck yourself, dude. Like, when I make a decision, I'm sticking to it.
Yep.
And like 6 weeks later, like, nah, I'm not doing this anymore. It's like swimming uphill, or swimming upstream rather.
Yeah.
And this is like swimming down.
Yeah. It's has there been anything, like, for example, it's you agree that once you decide to do something, and once you fully commit, things happen unexpectedly that actually help you on your journey.
Sure.
You'll meet the right person.
Yeah, of course.
You know, so has there been anything that has happened that has exceeded even your acceptance of, like, random shit's gonna happen that's gonna be either good or bad, but has there been huge surprises to you?
I don't know if I'd say there have been huge surprises. You know, like, I haven't been on Oprah.
Sure.
Or anything like that. But an interesting story around this is that, you know, the week after my ex took off, and I had the conversation with my business partner and knew essentially that partnership was going to end too. Mm-hmm. I was in the gym. I was still working there. I was there by myself. Actually, one other guy was there, our GM. And a client came in who I knew peripherally, you know, was friendly with and knew his name and hadn't really hung out with him. Mm-hmm. And he walks into the office and says, do you mind if we have a conversation?
Wait, who was this?
Guy named Garrett.
Okay.
He doesn't care if I say it.
Okay. No, I mean, like, who was this guy?
He's just a client.
Okay, just a client.
He's a gym client.
Okay.
And he comes and sits down and says, I have a feeling that you're not going to be here for very long.
What the fuck?
And you're going to go on to do something massive. I want to ask you if you'll come work on this project with me in the interim. And I sat there and stared at him.
And you had not...
I had not spoken to maybe 3 people in my life knew that, like, again, I was mortified. I was devastated on so many levels.
Yeah.
So I didn't make it public. I still had to deal with it myself. Mm-hmm. Walked in, sat down, said that to me. And I thought,
wow.
Holy shit. Okay, maybe there is something else at work here. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Maybe this is providence or whatever we want to call it.
Yeah.
The universe, yada yada. But no, I heard this weekend you can only connect the dots backwards.
Yes.
And I like that. I can look back now and say, wow, I got on a plane and read a book called To Be a Man. Mm-hmm. I then Googled the author because I love the book and found, oh my God, he's giving a workshop in Santa Barbara in 3 weeks. I live in Santa Barbara. What are the chances that a author is giving a workshop in my town? I went and took that workshop. That workshop changed my life.
Wow.
5 guys.
Yep.
Only. And from that was like the very first seed of all of this. Of like, holy shit, what's going on in this room?
Yeah.
Right? So I can look back and connect all of that together. But man, no, nothing yet. You know, I feel it. I feel it every day.
Yeah.
I feel it in conversations like this.
Yeah.
I feel it in every single person that I talk to that goes, holy shit, I've never heard anything like that before, but oh my God, is it needed? I know 50 guys that should talk to you.
Yes.
I go, oh, okay. That wasn't really happening when I opened my acupuncture practice.
Right.
It wasn't like, oh my God, we need to send all our friends to you.
Right.
It was like, hey, I'm at the golf course handing out business cards to see if you guys have sore low backs, and I'm still not getting business. Yeah. So yeah, in that regard, yes.
Yeah. People can see it.
Right.
People can see it. That's kind of creepy.
Yeah, it was crazy
and cool
and amazing. Yeah. And like you said, I got so many messages in that year, Zeb, of my accountant. Like, he's my fucking tax guy. Yeah. I told him, like, hey, here's where I'm at, because I had to tell him, like, I'm getting divorced, I'm selling the gym, I'm really not in a good place right now. Right. And he's my accountant, and he wrote back and said, I'm a little bit older than you, so take this for what it's worth. I've watched a number of people's lives fall apart. All of them have come back around and done something incredible with it, and said years later they're so thankful for it because they wouldn't be in the place they were now. Yeah. So take a deep breath and hang on. Yeah. Fucking accountant. Yeah. Right? There were so many random emails and messages and people saying, I can see something that you can't yet. Yeah. And me being like, well, I want to kill myself, so I don't give a shit what you can see. Right. But now in hindsight going, okay, I believe. I
Mhm.
believe in something else bigger than myself that they could see.
Okay. So earlier when I said that
Mhm.
I knew watching you go through what you were going through that it would trebuchet itself into something awesome.
Yeah.
I don't actually remember if I ever said that to you before.
No.
Okay.
You didn't.
Good. Because
Yeah.
I think one of the things I prize myself on is my awareness of tact.
Yeah.
And so I knew you were hurting.
Yeah.
But I always knew, man. I always knew that that it would be something big. And I really truly feel like this is it. Like the very few people who I share my goals with,
Yeah.
or my vision with, immediately they're just like, I want that same thing.
Yeah.
Will you teach me?
Yeah.
But it's kind of like there's so much fear behind that as well.
Yeah.
And I have every intent to, because I love them. But also personally, like I want, there's things that I have to do first, which I told you, which I can't reveal on tape. But
Right.
yeah, it's as of right this second, things are right.
Yeah.
Things are slightly scary,
Of course.
like ass puckering.
Yeah.
But nothing that your high self-confidence and high self-esteem cannot get you through, because you need this, right? You need the
Yeah.
you need to face the demons, and you need to face the troubles intended with everything great. Like nothing great will be easy.
No,
Yeah.
I had a conversation with a guy an hour ago who's about to give his first public speech.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the same conversation with myself Saturday morning before I took the stage.
Yeah.
Which is, this is awesome. This fear, this anxiety, this like, fuck, I'm about to go on stage. Fuck,
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
Is never going to go away. Ever.
Yeah.
And if it does, I'm going to quit speaking.
Yes.
Because on some level, I made the decision that I need that fear and pain and anxiety
Mhm.
in my life.
Yeah.
Because it means something great is about to happen.
Yes.
And if it's not, that's the complacency that I see in so many men.
Yeah.
It's the unwillingness to go to their edge.
Yes.
What's your edge?
Yeah.
Your edge is ass puckering.
Yep.
Your edge is, God, I'm going to get rid of $100,000 of debt in a year.
Yeah.
That means I, as a
Woo!
human, have to evolve
Yeah.
my thinking, my being, my sleeping, my patterns, my habits. Change.
Yep.
But I have to evolve to do that.
Yes.
Which means that's your edge.
Yes.
You're not just lying there going, okay, let me numb myself 8 different ways so that I don't look at my debt and freak out.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh man, it's like you think about it every day, and I've mentioned it before. One of the things I love history, and especially warrior cultures within history. And one of the books that I constantly refer to is the Hagakure, the Book of the Samurai. And one of the things they say is, a samurai, you cannot be a worthy retainer or a samurai if you are not thinking of it day or night, even in your dreams. And it's like, where has that not been true for people who achieve something great?
Right. Right.
And only now have I started to realize that with just a small thought, we can go from the heights of hatred or despair into the same heights of elation
Yeah.
and hope.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm human too. Like
Right.
as you walk around your day, you can't stay at it's almost impossible to stay in an elevated state all the time. Your
No.
state changes throughout the day.
No, me either.
At any one time,
Yeah.
you experience multiple emotions, maybe less so for guys, but almost 40 to 60% of it is negative unless you purposely force it to be positive, unless you feed the right dog.
Right.
And when you are in touch with that, I can feel it happening as it's happening, and it's like, nope, I'm not gonna give in. It's like, oh shit, like this, can I do this? Like, is this too big? And it's like, nope. And even if it is too big, no, stop that.
Yeah.
And embrace who you are. Take stock of who you are. Look at the situation as it is, and not worse than it is.
Yeah.
You have what it takes.
Right.
And if you don't do it, someone else is gonna do it.
Yeah.
Or even like, if I don't believe that I can raise that kind of money, in addition to achieving my other goals, in 9 months, 10 months, someone else is going to do it, and easily.
Yeah.
Because they didn't fucking feel sorry for themselves.
Yeah.
They got off the bitch train. You know what I mean?
They did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yep, just stop, be a doer.
Yeah.
Don't be a fucking thinker or an analysis paralysis candidate.
Right.
There's no shortage of people who have great ideas and do not act.
Do not do them.
The space is crowded.
Yeah.
But it's not crowded of people who do.
Yeah.
and people who embrace mistakes and learn from them.
Yeah.
That's the 1%.
Yeah, it's the 1%,
Mhm.
man. I read a great book multiple times throughout this journey called No More Mr. Nice Guy.
Yeah.
And it's not what it sounds like. It's about male codependence.
Mhm.
And in it, the author says what one man can do, any man can do.
Yes.
So when you look out in the world and say, like, wait a minute, that guy's doing this,
Mhm.
that means you can.
Yes.
I remember, Zeb, to go back personally, the first time I watched MMA
Mhm.
in California, it was still illegal.
Yeah.
So I'm in an underground club in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And I looked in the cage and saw these fucking guys fighting and thought, oh my God, I could never do that. And then freaked out.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute. Why can't I do that?
Right.
What's different about me? What's different about them and me?
Yeah.
Other than a set of decisions and the daily actions that follow those
Yes.
decisions.
Yes.
That guy wakes up tomorrow morning, he's going to have to take a shit,
Mhm.
just like I will. He's
Yep.
going to bleed red.
Yep.
He's got to breathe air.
Yep.
But his day is just different than mine.
Yes.
His thinking that allows him to have that different day is different than mine.
Yes.
That's it.
That is it. I'm glad you addressed that, dude, because I don't want people to be confused. There are two worlds you have to operate within in order to get the goal. One of them is the inner world, and one of them is the outer world. I learned this much from Jordan, right? And where the inner world is composed of a framework of things that you have to condition your mind for success. Right?
Yes.
You have to condition your subconscious for success, and it's a skill set, and it's a set of beliefs, it's a vision, it's standards.
Yeah.
Right, and it's being able to manage your state at the moments that it counts. And then there's the outer game, or the action game.
Yeah.
Right, you can't just sit there and think about the shit you want without taking action. That's like impossible, you know.
Right.
And so it's like the magnet that has polarity, but it will only attract what it's supposed to attract if it moves towards the thing.
Yeah.
If it takes action, right? So then, yeah. So absolutely, there is the inner game, which is important, and then there is the outer game, which is your sales and marketing and your
Yeah.
influencing skills and your multiple streams of income and your entrepreneurship skills. And so, I don't want people to I don't want people to misconstrue the message of like, oh, let me just sit here and think about it. Do I believe in manifestation? Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, manifestation's a fuck ton of work.
Yeah, and
you
so,
know what it is?
Yeah,
That's what it is.
Yeah, and it is. It really is. And
It's work.
I'm a huge Mike Tyson fan,
Yeah.
custom auto fan, and boxing, professional sports, special operations like Navy SEALs type stuff. They will almost always say it is 80 to 90% mental and 10% physical, which is shocking to a lot of people.
Mhm.
But I will also say on the reverse side, entrepreneurship and professional business success is almost the reverse in that it's the small percentage inspiration, but like 80-90% perspiration. Like it's 80-90% action,
Mhm.
and 1 or 2% like mental. Because I think that's the that's the great reflection.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like being an athlete or being a first responder is a physical world,
Right.
but you cannot discount the mental game. In fact, it's more important. But business entrepreneurship it's an action-based world, but you can't discount the tasks, and you can't discount
Yeah,
the
there's systems.
execution.
You know?
Yes.
It has to all be there.
Yes. Yeah. So, all right, let's go into, because so much of the Pascal project is based on health.
Sure.
This is some stuff. 3 things, and I stole these from Julie Fouché, one of my CrossFit crushes.
Sure.
3 things you do on a regular basis that positively affects your health.
Oh man, I definitely, first thing I do every single morning, I can't quantify the health effect, but before I pee, I lie in bed and list 10 things I'm grateful for.
Awesome.
And I literally just sort of wallow in it.
Yeah.
Because so often my life is still in turmoil and
Yeah.
in transition.
Yeah.
And so to ground myself in, hey, guess what? You still have hands.
Yeah.
And they still work.
Yep.
A great question I ask myself and ask people is, what would you be more grateful for today if you knew it would be gone tomorrow?
Oh my God.
Right? Like how awesome, how non-awesome or different, we'll just call it,
Yeah.
would your life be tomorrow morning if your hands didn't work?
Oh, dude.
Can you imagine that?
I can't.
Okay,
I mean,
no hands.
yeah.
So
That's it.
Maybe be a little more stoked that you have
Sure,
them today.
sure, of
right?
course, yeah.
Right? So it's that's one. 2, a physical movement practice, as you know, something almost every day.
Yeah.
Lifting weights, swinging a kettlebell, doing jiu-jitsu, surfing, yoga, some kind of physical movement. Humans are physical.
Yes.
Period. Fucking period.
Yes.
You've got like that. You've got to move every single day.
Mhm.
And then 3rd would be a meditation practice.
Tell me about that, Lord. Tell us
Sure.
about that.
almost daily, I will spend at least 30 minutes in meditation.
Yeah.
Almost daily.
Yeah.
And that has been that practice I've had for 20 years, on and off. But the moment I found out I was getting divorced, that was a lifesaver.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, it is the ultimate controller of state.
Wow.
So if I develop this skill, a skill, not magic, to control my inner world, so that when a thought comes in, I can either choose to let that thought take me down a dark road, or let that thought go and choose a different thought to replace it with, I'm kind of a fucking ninja.
Yeah.
Because I have bad thoughts coming into my head all day, every second now.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, pain is now an entity in my life that it wasn't yesterday. Okay, I've got to skillfully manage that. So sitting on the cushion 30 minutes, which for a lot of people, they go, oh my God, that's forever.
Yeah.
But it's not once you get into regular meditation. You know, I've done 3-day meditations that are 12 hours a day.
Wow.
So 30 minutes isn't a big deal. But it's the consistent, regular practice that changes every single other aspect of my life.
Yeah.
If you asked which would I pick for someone, a fitness practice or a meditation practice, and we started in CrossFit, we're athletes, it would be a 50-50 toss-up, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's that impactful.
It's that impactful.
You are not the first person who I have heard this from.
Yeah.
Like Ray Dalio and Tony Robbins do meditation.
Yeah.
And between the both of them, that's almost flirting with $1 trillion in assets. You know what I mean? And they both preach the meditation thing.
Yeah.
The gratitude thing is huge. Like I do the same thing when I wake up.
Yeah.
It's not a list. Even though I'm actually wondering about whether I should do that, but it's not in a linear, well reasoned out fashion. It's like the instant I wake up, I immediately think of the things I'm thankful for, and it's more like a flash movie in my head. You know,
of course.
Yeah, and all at once, my loved ones, my friends and family, my own life and health.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I'm seeing flashes of the beach and flashes of Norway and the ocean and like all these things that I'm so thankful for, you know. And let's add hands to that
Yeah,
list,
dude.
right?
Yeah.
So all these things, but yeah, it's never been a list. It's just like things that I'm thankful that I have and that I want to bring honor to. So because I start the day off projecting outwards because I'm looking for what I'm grateful for, then I bring it all back in and I ask myself, do I have what it takes, and am I willing to take, or do I have what it takes, and am I willing to do the things necessary to be worthy of the things I am grateful for? You know, and all that means to me is that, can I realize what the absolute best of my abilities are in today's world? You know, and that's a constant fight every day.
Right.
You know? And so, yeah, but as far as the meditation thing, a part of me feels like maybe that's something that I think I negatively associated it with when I was in martial arts, but I almost want to call it moving meditation, where if I spend a lot of time alone, and I think about a lot of stuff, and in the middle of a workout, and I remember especially when I was wrestling, it's almost moving meditation, or even like rock climbing. So many rock climbing and surfing books are not about rock climbing and surfing. It's about fucking being zen and shit. You know what I mean? Right. But there's also this thing that I think about foundationally, and I don't know a name for it. I only call it the river. And what I mean is, the river to me represents everything that has ever, will ever, and everything that has ever happened is happening now and will ever happen everywhere in the universe.
That's consciousness, brother.
Yeah. And so,
yeah.
But it's a very rare person, and it's even when grasped, it's very hard to hold on to when you're there.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost, I've never done drugs, but I can only imagine it's kind of like that. Or we've all had those moments where you feel so in touch with that.
Right, with source.
Yes, and so, I'm not saying that I'm an expert at it or anything. I actually feel like the feminine, by their nature, have slightly better access to it than we do. What we call women's intuition, I feel like might be their access to that, and a part of me feels like I've just learned to recognize it and learn to accept that it's real, and whether it's meditation or not, there are moments in my head where I'm like, literally, I've lost time. You know what I mean? And so sitting down and actually taking that time though purposefully and like scheduling it out is not something that I have
Okay.
like dealt with yet or like looked at yet, but I have a feeling that's for other reasons that I don't want to delve into right now.
Okay.
But yeah, that's great.
Having the carved out time is imperative.
Yes.
Because yes, you can get in a meditative state surfing.
Mhm.
You can also surf completely checked out or
Yeah.
thinking about work.
Yeah.
Yes, you can get in a meditative state doing jiu-jitsu, but it's not the same
Yeah.
as a specific time to sit and practice.
Yeah.
Practice.
Yeah.
The skillful art of managing the present moment and the skillful art of managing your own perceptions in the present moment.
Mhm.
Managing your reality
Yeah.
is a fucking skill.
Yeah.
No different than jiu-jitsu, surfing, and weightlifting is a skill.
Let me ask you this, because
Sure.
I remember once I did an acupuncture session with you.
Yep.
And you left me alone with the needles in me. I think it was my first time ever.
Mhm.
You left me alone in the room for like 20 or 30 minutes or
Yep.
something.
25 minutes.
25 minutes.
Yeah.
Is that meditation?
It is not meditation unless you are specifically meditating.
Okay.
So meditation is the practice of negotiating with the present moment, of bringing consciousness
Yeah.
to your own thoughts and patterns
Yeah.
for a set period of time. Whether that's standing in line at the DMV, but it has to be conscious.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, "Oh, my whole day's meditation." I'm like, "No, it's fucking not.
Yeah.
That's just your new age spiritual bullshit.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not. Sitting somewhere or stopping somewhere, standing somewhere, and actually engaging with your thoughts,
Mhm.
and specifically watching them go by without getting attached to them,
Yeah.
is the act of meditation.
Okay. Having lived in the woods
Yeah.
and in darkness
Yes.
and in cities,
Yes.
would you say there is an obvious or not obvious difference between being able to meditate in one versus the other?
Yes.
Okay. Can you elaborate?
Sure. The woods was the most powerful meditations I've ever done. The only place I've ever done meditations that in the meditation I actually saw visions.
Wow.
Where I actually saw myself standing up in front of a group of men and speaking. And unbeknownst to me, I would deny that vision for over a year and a half until I started doing this work with
Wow.
Man Uncivilized. I remember I wrote in the journal, holy shit, like literally, Zeb, these were crystal clear. And I don't see visions. Even, I've done ayahuasca, I've taken acid, I've sat in the dark where I was supposed to hallucinate extensively.
Yeah.
Meditating in the woods was like touching God, him or herself.
Wow.
Never experienced anything like that in my life. I was also borderline starving,
Sure.
so I don't know how much of an effect that had.
Okay. Because fasting is
fasting
a
is
huge
huge,
thing with
right?
religion. Okay, yeah.
So at that point, I had lost 20 pounds in about 3 weeks
Yeah.
from not eating. But something about being in nature, I think, is profoundly powerful for touching our own, whatever we want to call it, source energy,
Yeah, yeah.
whatever, your own spiritual guide, whatever it is to you, for touching consciousness.
Yeah.
This thing that exists, what has happened, what is happening, and what will happen. That field for touching knowledge that isn't attainable to the 5 senses that we know.
Yeah.
In the dark, I meditated for hours and hours a day, but it was a different experience where specifically an image or a mental movie clip would come up
Mhm.
into my consciousness, and then I would go and lie down and process that thing,
Wow.
as opposed to that being like a blank slate,
Right.
or it was like, oh fuck, that thing.
Yeah.
In a city, it's profoundly hard
Yeah.
because you're just the natural environment so chaotic.
I.
Not impossible,
No, of course.
and you should still do it.
Yeah.
It's like saying, can you work out on a hot day?
Mhm.
Yes, you got to still work out on a hot day.
Yes. Oh man, it's because finding stillness and going into yourself is naturally easy for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I think because of where the world is, I'm addicted to my phone.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm
You're
addicted
100% addicted to your phone.
to tech. I'm
So am
addicted
I.
to sugar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fucking love it.
I know.
It's
Yeah.
devil. I hate it.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but we both have experiences where if those things are removed for
Right.
hours or days, it is the best shit ever. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And it's worth doing at least once. It's worth money. I have these fleeting fantasies of going out somewhere and just losing my phone,
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
just for days or
Mhm.
weeks,
Mhm.
and just being so much of my job and so much of what I'm trying to do depends on me being connected to everyone at all the time.
Yeah.
And to disconnect from everyone all the time. People used to live like that.
Yeah.
And dare I say, people used to be more peaceful.
Yeah.
You know, and,
Yeah.
more in touch with themselves. And
Yeah.
so yeah, that's something I want to address later on. So okay, the flip side of this question: one thing that you think will have a big impact on your health, but you can't get into your routine.
That's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have battled with sugar.
Yeah.
You know, I love chocolate. I
Yeah,
had a
me
chocolate
too.
company.
Yeah.
And
Chocolate towel.
yeah, and getting sugar completely out of my diet
Yeah.
has just been hard. And I counsel people on to do it.
Sure.
Like, any of my clients
Same.
listening are probably like, that motherfucker.
Yeah.
He doesn't let me have it.
Yeah.
I think that's all I can really think of. You know, I know that I'm in a period of high stress.
Mm-hmm.
I've taken on a lot of stress,
Mm-hmm.
and so I know that will naturally change as I hire more people and hire more employees,
Yeah.
and there's more consistency. Like, the company turns into there's more of a consistent pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Like, now there's a lot of newness and new things, new events, new shit that I'm doing.
Yeah.
So that level of stress management, but man, I can't think of anything else. If I could snap my fingers and just not love macaroons,
Yep.
I would do it.
Yep.
So I think that's the answer.
I feel like that is the answer for almost 99% of the people that I've heard on that question. Like,
Yeah.
what is the one thing? And it is the food thing or the sugar thing.
Yeah.
I stole this from Scott McGee, lightning round, or this idea, which is a series of questions.
Sure.
And we can stop at any point or like delve at any point.
Okay.
Favorite dessert food?
Oh my god.
You can do a list.
Sure. Well, you know, my Aunt Cindy made this apple pie, and like, I associate just like her apple pie is just the greatest thing I've ever eaten in my life.
Yes.
And I would go to her, like, their house for holidays as a kid, and
Yeah.
so it's like my wraparound of tradition.
Yeah.
So man, apple pie.
Dutch or American?
American.
Okay, yeah.
American. A little bit of vanilla ice cream.
Oh.
Here in Santa Monica last night, I had these gluten-free oatmeal raisin, chocolate chip, and peanut butter cookies. Like, the waiter came and was like, "Which one would you like?" And I was like, "I'd like all three."
All of them.
Like, look at me.
Yes.
Are you calling me small?
Yes.
So those, I think, have quickly come on my top list.
Awesome.
Man, I could go on. Chocolate mousse,
Yeah.
you know.
Yes.
Shit, it's so many.
I'm a huge chocolate guy too. All right, favorite food. You could list it.
Sushi or pizza?
Okay. Which sushi?
Tamago.
Which?
That's the yellow egg.
Okay.
Yeah.
I live vicariously through my sushi eating friends because I'm not allowed to eat it anymore.
Oh, okay.
Because of the transplant. But yeah, I love sushi. When I could eat it,
Yeah.
it was so good. All right, is there a favorite pizza?
Mushroom, some kind of meat like sausage,
Mm-hmm.
and green pepper.
Okay. Could you name a pizza spot, whether in California or New York or the East Coast, where it's like, man, that was some of the... No, really?
No, I can't. The Valentino's in Manhattan Beach was good.
Okay.
I can't think of a place where I was like, that's the best, because it's all so damn good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Fastest you've ever driven a vehicle?
I think I got my old motorcycle up to 135.
On a motorcycle?
On a motorcycle.
How did that feel?
Incredible and terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrifying. Could you not feel the ground, like, at 130?
I just had an idea that, like, I am a rock away from death.
Yeah.
You know?
So that means the ground had to be super smooth.
Yeah.
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 Okay. If you could be a pro athlete in any sport.
Surfing.
All right.
Or basketball.
Surfing or basketball?
One of the two.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Surfing was... I saw that.
Yeah.
Basketball I didn't see.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
It's team sport. It's a team. It's
Okay,
a great
I
team
see.
sport.
I
It's a
see.
small team. Everybody's active. You know, it's not like soccer where you don't do a lot.
Right.
Just, man, I loved it. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay.
All right. Time travel to the past or future?
Okay.
Like
which would it be?
Which one?
Future.
Okay. When?
I would even just say 25 years from now.
Okay.
I think we are at such a monumental time in human history.
I agree.
With the advent of the speed of technology.
I agree.
that, you know, look at our phones.
Mhm.
Look at how radically that is changing everything in our life and changing our biology.
It's insane.
I can't even fathom what 20 years from now will be. Relationally, technology freaks me out in the relationship space.
Yeah.
This is a whole separate conversation.
Yep.
But because I have this conversation with men so often, that men now, here's what we hear all the time. I know this is a complete offshoot.
No, do
but
it.
It's interesting to me. It's fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Men have heard for the last 25 years from women, we don't need you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's on some level, it's true as far as like income goes
Yeah.
and protection goes,
Yeah.
etc. And men have had a challenge from a lot of the challenges men feel are like, well, I have no place anymore. I don't need to hunt the lion. I don't need to bring home the meat.
Right.
I don't need to stand on the wall.
Right.
What scares me, one of the top 3 things in my life, is when men don't need women for sex anymore.
Oh.
Because technology and robotics have replaced it.
Got it.
Or have made it so, like, my sex doll is like, one, she's physically perfect.
Mm-hmm.
She's physically designed to the exact specifications that I want.
Yeah.
2, all I have to do is put on my virtual reality goggles,
Yeah.
and she's got 4 friends in the room.
Right.
Wow. Now take that technology and give it to a 14-year-old boy,
Yeah.
or a 15-year-old, or an 18-year-old,
Right.
and give that to him for 5 years,
Yeah.
and let the technology advance every year, because, oh my God, the market has now exploded 5 billion%.
Yeah.
And then take that guy and put him on a first date with a real girl.
Right.
He's going to go, oh, and think of how much of what we do as men is driven by the desire to acquire a mate.
Yeah.
And so if literally I'm like, well, I don't need to really do that anymore. All my sexual needs are met.
Right.
To some degree,
Yeah.
even to a degree that I think is better than with a real woman.
Yeah.
Because I'm so disconnected from physical intimacy.
Yeah.
And from actual human connection, and I'm just thinking with my dick.
Yeah.
That I think the societal shift of that will be monu-fucking-mental.
Jesus.
It's almost as if when, like, people ask, like, well, what happens when robots take over all the low-level jobs,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there's no more fast food people, there's no more truck drivers, there's no more service people because it's all robotics.
Yeah.
What happens to that segment of the population?
Yeah.
To me, I'm curious about population-wise,
Yeah.
or even relationally, what happens when 70% of men go, I don't want to be in a relationship.
Right.
I have goggles on a doll.
Right. That reason number 3,628 that Traver is the ideal candidate to spearhead
Yeah,
this movement.
I'm curious about that. So I would really just like to see what our relationships look like
Yeah.
25 years from now.
My last episode before this was what I called the nerd episode,
Okay.
where I had one of my buddies, Jason Rothenberg, on it, and we went there as far because he wants to be an astrophysicist, so we went there about space, and we went there. But one of the natural, I think now it's like one of those natural things that we had to go to was the advent of artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are here again. So I actually have a feeling now that in a future episode we will tackle at length the inevitability and ramifications of artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like that's concurrent with our growth as a species, because I think I'm an optimist by nature, and so when you described all the low-level jobs that will be replaced by robots, my first instinct was good, because now these other people, everyone is talented at something. Everyone has desires, and I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but most of these people working those low-level jobs, those low-level jobs were not their dream job. Like, their dream jobs were something else. And so if there is a advance in technology or an advance in resource allocation that will free up these people to freely pursue their own interests, good. Because we project into the future nightmarish or purgatory-like sci-fi scenarios, but we do not take into account the unknown innovations for the good of mankind. Right. So for the last like 15, 16 years, Airbnb did not exist.
Right.
Uber did not exist.
Right.
The iPhone did not exist.
Right.
You know, but at one time the internet did not exist. So I am almost this close to saying that all innovations and all technologies, maybe even artificial intelligence, are tools. And just like any tool, there were people who will use it for good and
Mm-hmm.
people who will use it for bad, and there's the people in between. So, yeah, but that's.
But I'm curious on that end of how much of technology right now has already outpaced biology.
Yeah.
And we see it, like how many kids don't know how to have a human conversation.
Right.
How many kids' brains are forming in ways that are identical to abandoned and abused kids,
Yeah.
even though they're not abandoned and abused, because instead of spending the summer running around playing kickball,
Yeah.
they spent the summer on their phones.
Yeah.
And so that's where I go, yeah, there may be innovation,
Right.
but we're still biological beings.
Yes, we will always
right?
be. And again, like, because also I immediately search for solutions, right?
Yeah.
It's like one of the things that I'm looking at is another trebuchet. Like, let's say that goes. Let's say there's a whole 2 or 3 generations deep of kids who grow up with faulty, if not false, human interactions, or what they think are human interactions.
Right.
Or even if they are told they are not the real thing, they elect to do the fake thing.
Right.
I have no fear about it, because by that time, Man Uncivilized has become a household name.
Yeah.
It's because I totally see Man Uncivilized starting as a movement for men, but actually
Right.
evolving into who knows what. But
Human
it could,
uncivilized, yeah.
right, it could be like your commune with nature.
Yeah.
How to realize your true inner self. How to
Right.
integrate that with physical activity and learning and blah blah blah. Like episode 2 of the Past Project was at a school with a very dear friend of mine, a teacher, and we were talking about the future of education.
Yeah.
You know, and one of my things is, I see the future of kids learning, the purpose of the 4-year structure of most schools. I see that as being replaced easily in the future, if not already. It's already being replaced. If not, it's already outdated.
Yeah.
How do people learn stuff now if not Google and fucking YouTube?
Right.
And what is that going to look like in the future? And who are we to tell them how long it should take for them to achieve some kind of milestone?
Right.
If they don't do it themselves. Like, your most obsessed learning, my most obsessed learning has taken place outside of school.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And so,
Absolutely.
And so it will be for other kids. And so one of the arguments against that was they will not be surrounded by a common social structure.
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
And to me, I'm like, if they want to be an engineer, I'm not going to force them to take liberal arts.
Yeah, that model's fucked.
Yeah, and so
It's
basically
done.
go to an engineering firm.
Right.
And learn engineering, and there's going to be people there that you're going to have to interact with. Is it a skill that's essential? Yes.
Yeah.
Teach them that instead of teaching them, I hate to, instead of teaching them fucking history.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
The people will, if you give them the freedom, they will pursue the things they want to pursue.
Yeah.
That was my argument. So I actually don't have a fear of them not being exposed to basic social norms. But that's also taking a lot of faith in that curriculums will be supplanted in the future optimistically with how to purchase property, how to invest money,
Right.
how to communicate with an actual human being.
Yeah.
Man Uncivilized course, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
so that's my that's my optimistic viewpoint. I do know that there's darkness and evil and malevolence in the world.
Right.
I also know that there will be warriors of light to meet it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I agree.
You, if nothing, are proof of that.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
yeah, so basically it will, there will be cycles of where the pendulum swings one way, but it always
Right.
swing the other way. And we're not living in the bloody French Revolution anymore, you know what I mean?
No.
So but warfare and competition and distribution of resources is still there. And
absolutely.
It is a mistake to think that life is still not a competition on the highest level.
Yeah.
And that winners, the patterns of winners and losers are not the same in 2018 as they were in 1018.
Yeah.
So that's,
Sure.
But yeah, I'd love to do another episode where we look at that.
Yeah. One of the
artificial
reasons I'm going to bring in part of the program. Part of the year-long program is a 3-day gathering, and it's going to have a lot of primal skills in it.
Yeah.
Like when I had to learn to make fire
Yeah.
by hand,
Yeah.
I had to learn to build shelter by hand,
Yeah.
to learn to hunt food by sight,
Yep.
etc. It was very calming to go,
Yeah.
when all of this and if all of this gets unplugged,
Yeah.
I can walk out into the woods
Yes.
and
And be fine.
be okay.
Yeah.
It's still going to be a challenge. It's going to be back to where we were 1,000 years ago.
Sure.
And the struggle will be real.
Yeah.
But that's something that settles people's guts.
Yes.
Especially men.
Yeah.
It settles our guts to go, yeah, I know how to build fire, build shelter, and kill.
Yes.
That's got to be known.
Will women be? People are gonna ask.
Yeah.
Will women be welcome
No.
at these? No. Okay.
No.
Guys.
Not in the beginning.
Of course.
Yeah, because the flip side of that is we're also going to cover very intimate masculine topics.
Yeah.
Hey man, we have to share what we're ashamed of
Yeah.
in the space of other men
Yeah.
where it's safe.
Yes.
When you have women involved in a group like
It
this,
changes everything.
changes the dynamic
Yeah.
instantly.
Yeah.
Competition, etc.,
Yeah.
ego,
Yeah.
yada yada. But when you get a group of men together, like I did this in Brooklyn
Mhm.
3 weeks ago.
Mhm.
Shocking how open
Oh yeah.
and emotive, and guys were just so truthful about what their experiences are, what their fears are,
Yeah.
what their pain points are,
Yeah.
and that doesn't happen regularly.
No.
So my dream is to mix the two together. So that's again the mix of the primal and the divine.
Awesome.
Hey, let's meditate. Hey, let's share openly about what we're going through.
Awesome.
Let's learn how to fucking bow hunt tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Right? So it's the mix of the two.
You are doing God's work, my friend.
Thank you, brother.
I can't wait to register
Yeah.
for that event. Be one of the first guys. If you're a man listening to this, how are you not sold on this program already? All right, sit with 5 people from history.
Ooh. Bruce Lee.
Yep.
Alan Watts.
Refresh my memory.
Is a spiritualist.
Okay. American?
I think so.
Okay.
I think he is. That's a really great question. Bruce Lee, Alan Watts.
You pontificate while
Yeah.
I look up Alan Watts.
Maybe the Buddha.
Okay, Siddhartha Gautama.
Yeah. That's a great question, man.
Yeah, sit on it, man. Alan Watts was a British philosopher, writer,
Okay.
and speaker,
British.
best known as an interpreter and popularizer of Eastern philosophy for a
Yeah.
Western audience. Yeah, makes sense.
Wow, that's a really great question.
Yeah, man. Relax your brain and just go
Yeah,
back.
I mean, I'm gonna like hate this one because I'm gonna call you in 2 days and be
that's
like,
okay.
put this in.
No,
Put
that's
this in
all
the
right.
show notes.
That's all right. That's all right.
So Bruce Lee, Alan Watts, the Buddha. Yeah, I mean, obviously Jesus.
Yep.
Be like, dude, lay it on me.
Yeah, yeah.
You really think your mom and dad didn't have sex? Maybe someone that was kind of like brutal, like Attila the Hun, or some famous Viking that I don't even know of. Like,
Yeah.
Let's mix it up. Like, let's
Yeah.
get an ass kicker in there.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'll say Attila.
Okay, beautiful. So we got Bruce Lee,
Yeah.
Alan Watts,
Buddha.
Siddhartha Gautama, yeah, Buddha.
Mhm.
Who's the number 4? Jesus?
Jesus.
And then Attila.
Yeah.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah, it's gonna be a
Awesome.
hell of a lunch.
Awesome. You know
I
what?
don't have any women. Shit.
Well,
That's okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
There
Nope,
it is.
Yep.
You know what? I was gonna. One of the questions was make a 5-image coat of arms for Man Uncivilized. But
Mhm.
why? Because we already have the faces.
the faces.
The
Yeah,
faces
yeah, yeah.
of these characters, right? From history.
Yeah.
All right. Top 5 most influential films.
First and foremost, The Great Escape.
Great Escape. Great Escape. I know that.
World War II. Or maybe, yeah, World War II.
I know the name, but what is the
Steve McQueen. Tons of actors in that.
Yeah. What were they?
Karate Kid.
Okay. Yep.
Obviously.
Yep.
That was like instrumental in
Yes.
my life.
Yes.
Top 5 influential.
Yeah. Not to be confused with top 5 favorite.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Requiem for a Dream fucked me up
Really?
for a while. Yeah,
Okay.
that was crazy. About addiction.
Yeah.
And the possibility of.
Yeah.
This is another one I'm going to email you tomorrow.
Okay,
Like,
that's all right.
Put these in.
That's all right. We can do sit with 5 people from history asterisk, and we can do like
Asterisk, yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
The top 5 most influential movies asterisk.
I gotta say this, even though Flashdance.
Flashdance.
It was my first rated R movie. Actually, it's between Flashdance or no, I'm gonna take that back. Best Little Whorehouse in Texas.
Yes.
Because at like 12 years old or 10 years old, I was like, that's what boobs are.
Yeah.
My life is now completely different from this moment on forever.
Yes.
I want all of them.
I love it. I love it.
And then the 5th, man, that's a tough one. Enter the Dragon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Okay,
Or
so
Return of the Dragon, whichever one had Chuck Norris in it.
Return.
Yeah. Return of the Dragon.
Yeah.
That movie was a game changer too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was it because of the iconic Bruce Lee Chuck Norris fight?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just
easily.
that was brilliantly filmed too.
Yes.
You know, for a movie back then.
Yes.
I guess I could say Star Wars, but now that one.
Yeah,
you know.
I don't feel like Star Wars would be as influential to you.
Yeah.
You know.
Return of the Dragon was I think I own a poster of that. That's like 6 foot by 10 foot.
Yes.
And I've just said, like, whenever I get my next home, it's the first thing I'm spending money on is getting that thing framed. Like watching him rip Chuck Norris's chest hair out.
Dude.
The change from when he went from style to no style in the fight.
Yep.
And that's when he started winning.
Yep. And then the cat watching him. Amazing.
Brilliant.
Amazing. I agree. Okay. Have you ever been arrested?
Yes.
Okay. Ever stolen a pen from work?
Of course.
What was the last thing you ate?
What was it? It was your bacon and eggs
Yeah.
and a steak.
Yeah, ribeye.
And ribeye.
Ribeye from, and then it was on a bed of greens.
Bed of greens and some strawberries.
And strawberries.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. What was the last book you read?
Becoming a Barbarian by Jack Donovan.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How was it?
It is a little more intense than I thought it would be.
Okay.
So Jack Donovan wrote the book The Way of Men,
Yep.
which is a great book.
Mm-hmm.
And even in you can tell Jack Donovan is a very iconic man in the men's movement.
Yeah.
But he's gone far primal. I think he joined a motorcycle gang.
Yeah.
I think his idea is literally get your 5 closest male friends.
Yeah.
Go out and start a tribe.
Yeah.
And live in the Norse code and the old ways.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a little intense. Even his reading of the book, he narrates, and in Way of the Men, he's speaking as I'm speaking. And then in Becoming a Barbarian, it's like, you will go to the woods.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
fuck, dude. Like, hey, you're not getting hugs.
Not connected with the divine, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a favorite superhero? 'Cause I'm a huge nerd.
I don't have a favorite.
Okay.
I wasn't really connected with that world.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, therefore, favorite villain would also be a non-starter.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever Googled your own name?
Yes.
Were you happy with what the results were?
Yeah, it was just, I've had to do it to look for like TED Talk, like to look for stuff I've written.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really just like this massive library of the 500 articles I've published or blog posts or something. Yeah.
Do you speak to yourself out loud when alone?
Yes.
Do you sing to yourself out loud when alone?
Pre-speech or pre-fight. I used to do it pre-fight, and I do it before a public talk. I'll put headphones on and sort of sing and dance to oddly enough to get myself in a rhythm.
Awesome.
And calm myself down.
Are you at liberty to disclose what music?
Yeah, it's it's something I stole off Spotify. That's a White Buffalo song.
Oh, the one we were listening to?
Yeah, one we were listening to. Yeah,
That's a very calming...
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Have you ever cheated on a board game?
I'm sure I have. I can't remember, but
It's
I'm sure I
okay.
have.
Okay, so here's another kind of nerdy question.
Sure.
If you could have a superpower,
Uh-huh.
what would it be?
I used to say it was to heal.
Yeah.
And then I learned how to heal. I think distance travel.
Okay.
So if I could snap my fingers and be in Hawaii when there's really good surf,
Yep.
I would do it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Would you commit a crime if you could get away with it?
Depending on the crime.
Okay.
I mean, I have to say, I'm not a big fan of paying taxes.
Sure.
And so if there are loopholes,
Yep.
and I can rub all the way up to I guess, I don't know if that's a crime. I speed.
Yeah.
So I drive fast. I'm not a real big fan of red lights if no one's around,
Yep.
or stop signs if no one's around.
Yep.
So I guess I have to say, yeah, vehicularly, yes. Otherwise, no.
It's funny because I know if I asked this question to you and to me maybe 10 years ago, we would be of a much more lawful bent. But now I think because of the things that you've learned legally and in your marriage and in running a business, I think we're both at a place where we're much more chaotic. There's lawful good and there's chaotic good, or even neutral good.
Right.
But first of all, rule of law is a good idea.
Yes.
It is a better idea than rule of man.
Yes.
That being said, law by themselves are not perfect. And so
No.
therefore, the changing of legislature of law almost 100% of the time does not keep up with the necessity of the law change.
Right.
So there's a space in between where you have to make a choice. You know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there are so many laws out there that do not make sense that are still on the books.
Yeah.
That technically, if you were to break them, you would be a criminal, even though it's for the better good.
Yeah.
You know. So that's
I
where
don't feel beholden to the legal system or society's rules at large.
Right.
And that may sound arrogant
No.
or elitist, but I'm never going to kill someone
Of course.
unless it's in self-defense. I don't assault people. I don't rob from stores.
Yeah.
But I don't believe that. I'll just say I don't believe that I have to abide by a lot of shit.
Of course. Yeah, and,
Yeah.
and you know what? It's in. You don't have to, and it was never supposed to be that way. In that it was in, to me, the founding fathers and the libertarian philosophy, in that the better of a person, good people don't need a lot of laws.
Yeah.
You know, but bad people do need a lot of laws.
Yeah.
And I remember reading somewhere where, I think in 2017, if you attempted to read the U.S. code in its totality from beginning to end, and if you read 700 pages a day, it would take you 300 to 400 years.
Wow, it's insane.
It's insane.
Yeah.
So the last thing we need is more laws.
More laws,
If
yeah.
anything, we need less
Yeah.
laws and more decency
Yeah.
and more pain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And pain for the sake of getting to know ourselves.
Right.
So we're not fucking dicks to other people.
Exactly.
So that's yeah.
Dude, I spent a significant amount of time in Nicaragua, and it's a pretty lawless place in
Yeah.
that there is no appearance of law.
Yes.
There's no police
Mhm.
around whatsoever. And so you have to learn, one, to take care of yourself physically,
Mhm.
and two, I remember getting hurt surfing. I got like thrown up against a whole bunch of sharp rocks. And I was like, I'm fucked out here
Yeah.
unless I get myself to safety. And those two congruencies
Yeah.
of, if someone comes to fuck with me, I need to know how to take care of myself. If I get hurt or get fucked up, I need to know how to take care of myself. It was far more relaxing and simplistic than, oh, I can do whatever I want and someone's going to come rescue me.
Right.
It was far more complicated in that I had to have these skills and talents, but then the next time I surfed, I didn't surf next to the rocks
Mhm.
because the lesson had been learned.
Yes.
No one's coming to save you
Yeah.
if you screw up.
Yeah.
I think that would be a valuable lesson for a lot of people.
I agree.
Is yeah, you're in it, you got yourself in it, you get yourself out of it.
I agree. What time do you normally go to bed and arise?
Usually go to bed somewhere between 10:30 and 11, and I naturally wake up around 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're almost gonna close it up. But
Sure.
you were married and divorced.
Mm-hmm.
You learned so much,
Mm-hmm.
and you learned so much to a point where I think it's safe to assume that you got back to zero. And
Mhm.
by that I mean when you grieving, you were below zero.
Yeah,
And
for
then
sure.
you got back to zero.
Yeah,
And you were a better zero than the zero previously.
100%.
And now you've grown even more so.
Yeah.
Is it still in your intention to marry?
That's a great question.
You don't have to answer if you don't want
Sure,
to.
sure. No, I'll answer anything. I don't believe in the institution of marriage anymore.
Okay.
And I want to say that with an asterisk.
Yes.
Yes, I would like to get married again.
Okay.
I don't believe in the piece of paper.
Yep.
I don't believe in the legal aspect of it.
Yeah.
I would like to, I plan to be in a partnership
Mm-hmm.
that is more committed than the marriage I was in.
Yeah.
Whether that entails a trip to the courthouse for legal for insurance purposes
Yeah.
or otherwise, I could give a shit.
Yeah.
I think, I learned very, very harshly that marriage isn't what I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yet I learned after that what real partnership is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
And so, in some regard, this may sound weird, I know I was legally married. I don't think I ever was married,
Wow.
right? I didn't have a real partnership.
Yeah.
I had, I saw this in the dark,
Yeah.
that my, what's the best way to put it? It was not a fallacy. Shit. This is really important. The wording is really important. What is it when something's fake? It's,
Disingenuous. Nope.
Illusion.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
So I was in a marital illusion.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Jesus.
that was literally shown to me in like a hallucination in the dark.
Yeah.
So this is a very long, complicated answer.
Say it, bro.
There is the legal structure of marriage.
Yeah.
Bam. Do that if you want to.
Yep.
Don't think by any means that's an actual even relationship.
No.
People who don't like each other, who hate each other, who are just trying to fuck each other for money,
Mhm.
get legally married.
Mm-hmm.
Partnership exists outside of marriage and inside of marriage in the real format, which is two people saying, let's join our lives together. Let's make a pact that as long as we're growing together and we can use this relationship to better ourselves, we will stay together. We will also make a pact that says there will be years when we will be separated within the marriage because different things are happening, but we can sense that we are brought here for the long term.
Yeah.
If there's abuse, we're getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
If one of us goes haywire and goes apeshit, we're getting out of here. Will there be actual, probably years, where there's discord? Yes. Are both people willing to constantly work and make the relationship their top priority? Or not even their top priority, a priority.
Mm-hmm.
They themselves have to be a top priority, a priority. Does that exist within the structure of marriage? Sometimes. It didn't in mine.
Mm-hmm.
So that to me is the actual, spiritual definition of marriage,
Yeah.
conscious definition of marriage. That's what I want. I don't care if there's a piece of paper attached to it. I played that game
Right.
with someone who I don't think was in it.
Yeah.
So therefore my marriage was an illusion.
Yeah.
Right? So do I want that illusion again? Absolutely not.
Right.
Most men who have their wives leave are dating their future spouse within 3 months.
Yeah.
The replacement.
Oh.
So they've done no work, they've
Right.
learned nothing, which is
Right.
why second marriage divorce rates are so high.
Well, you just broke my heart because I always thought second marriages were better. But yeah.
It depends. I think they have the potential to.
Okay.
Uh,
Assuming obviously that you learn from the first one.
yeah, you have to learn. Divorce is one of the greatest teachers we have.
Yes.
If you let it be.
Yes.
It is a massive, massive ripping apart of a family,
Mm-hmm.
of a relationship,
Yeah.
and of an energetic fabric.
Yeah.
It's bigger than a relationship.
Ugh.
You stand in front of a group of people and you make a proclamation. You set vows
Yeah.
under God or heaven
Yeah.
or the universe or whatever,
Yeah.
under the sky,
Yeah.
whatever it may be. You declare this. I think that brings in a lot more juice
Mm-hmm.
than it does for people who are just dating.
Sure. There's accountability.
That being said, there are people who have created ceremony. That's the thing. It's a
Yeah.
ceremony.
Yeah.
So any relationship that's taken a ceremonial point where you have specifically brought in that notion of quote ceremony unquote, it makes it more energetic,
Yeah.
more powerful.
Yeah.
So divorce is the literally tearing of that.
Yeah.
Tearing apart. If anybody's listening to this who's on the fence of getting divorced, do everything in your power not to.
Okay.
Everything.
Yeah.
Go to therapy.
Yeah.
Spend weeks, like literally you should extend every last resource you can to not get married, not get divorced.
Wow.
Unless there's abuse.
Yeah.
Unless there's blatant addiction.
Yeah.
Right? Or even that, separate first.
Yes.
Marriage is that big of a deal and it's that traumatic.
Wow.
So I was very fortunate in how it ended up turning out and how I ended up using it
Yeah.
to say, God, I am 50 feet higher than my 0 point now
Yeah.
looks down
Yes.
miles on my old 0 point.
Yes.
I know people who have killed themselves because of divorce. I know people who are addicts because of divorce.
Yeah.
I know so many kids who are fucked up beyond measure because their parents got divorced.
Yeah.
Divorce is not good.
Yeah.
Divorce is terrible.
Yeah.
It's traumatic. It's awful.
Right.
Do everything in your power not to,
Yeah.
including enter into your next relationship consciously.
Yeah.
So will I get married again? I will no matter what, enter into my next relationship consciously.
Yep.
Allow that to take shape in whatever form it does, but that will be the number one priority.
Yeah.
Is consciousness within it.
Okay.
Radical honesty.
Yeah.
Radical intimacy. Right? Saying, I need to know. whatever this thing is, I need to know if there's an issue. If you say like, God, you know what? This morning I woke up and I just absolutely hated, I became unattracted to pasty, bald, muscular guys.
Yeah.
Be like, you know what? I need to hear that.
Yeah.
Now I get to decide what I do about it and what you do about it. But people don't have that conversation. People aren't that honest with each other.
Yeah.
It's, hey, this thing's bugging me. It's been bugging me for 5 weeks, so now I'm going to pretend it's not bugging me, and I'm going to go fuck my secretary.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not getting this need met from you. I'm not going to address that, which then lets us both have an open conversation about, okay, I can't do this thing for you. I can't provide this for you. Let's now renegotiate the relationship in a manner that I'm comfortable with and lets you get that need met.
Awesome.
That's so different.
Yes.
Right? That's so different. Like I've literally know couples, and it's not just based around sexuality, that say, I can't do this thing for you. I don't want you to do this thing for you, but I know you need it. That level of expression you absolutely need. Otherwise, it will find a shadow expression.
Yes.
Let's figure out a way for you to experience that I'm comfortable with, and let you get that need met. Holy shit, we get to stay together. We redefine what partnership is to ourselves. That's what I'm looking for.
Awesome.
Yeah.
One of my, first of all, if you're a listener, I hope you'll find the humor in the guy, the divorcee who declares that he does not believe in the institution of marriage anymore, telling the officiant who's gonna officiate my fifth, sixth, and seventh.
Yeah.
Fifth, sixth, and seventh
I
wedding.
need to asterisk that.
Yeah, I know. I get. The thing is,
Yeah.
I get it, and
I love marriage.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
beautiful.
I agree.
If it's conscious.
Yeah, exactly. I agree, Traver. Like, I agree in that, having been a former business owner and having to take steps to dissolve a business,
Yeah.
a marriage and a divorce are legally almost identical. It is, you are entering into a legal agreement.
Yep.
A legal agreement can be annulled.
Right.
You know, and so it has forced me, and also too, I think because you're at your zero now is way above your previous zero.
Yeah.
I used to have a fear for you as a friend, being a divorcee and being surrounded by men who are for all intents and purposes, who are in trouble.
Yeah.
And so and like the irony is that I'm surrounded by so many loving, long-term, healthy, monogamous relationships. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so my fear for you as a friend was that you would fall into a cynical viewpoint of marriage. Okay, so I'm glad about that. Like, within your answer, my unasked question was answered.
Okay.
So I'm happy about that. But yes, like I agree as far as the institution of marriage is struggling to remain relevant.
Yeah.
Because the original purpose of marriage was either to bind families economically,
right,
because of nepotism,
right,
where the children will represent the political futures of monarchy,
mm-hmm,
right, and or the rearing and raising of children,
mm-hmm,
for stability, but or even like tax purposes.
Mm-hmm.
But the more I learn, it's like the higher up there is a point beyond which tax purposes are not beneficial, mm-hmm, in marriage. There are kids out there whose parents have been together for so long, but they never got married.
Right.
You know what I mean? And there are marriages who have fallen apart. So the actual institution itself, I agree, it is only what you make it. And just from, if you take a step back, it's like, you know what, I love you so much, and we connect so well. The chemistry is so out of control. The compatibility is so borderline uncanny and terrifying. Let's get the government involved. And you know what I mean?
Right.
Let's get it's like, no, this is a private recognition and a private, it's at this point, but also on the flip side, I obviously support the institution.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I obviously support the original spirit of what the institution of marriage was.
100%.
A binding lifelong choice.
Yeah.
And now adding to that, the entering into it consciously,
yeah,
not unconsciously.
Yeah.
Not being dragged about by your subconscious, by the lingering exaltations of damage and baggage.
Absolutely.
You know,
there's a huge movement, the Men Go Their Own Way movement, that has grabbed so many men.
Yeah.
Which is this anti-marriage, anti-relationship, make your
That's too bad.
focus of your life, make the focus of your life work, and then pay for sex or get sex in just friend-based relationships.
That,
So you have no skin in any game
Right.
other than your own life.
right.
I still believe that the highest expression of let's just say it just for men, of
Yeah.
a man, is a man in relationship.
Yeah.
Because that's where you learn.
Mm-hmm.
You have to learn to be with somebody else.
Yeah.
And I think a supportive relationship, especially for men, we do our best when we have a woman or a partner in our life.
Okay.
We absolutely do our best because we need that support. It's like we need to go out and conquer and kill shit,
Yeah.
and then come home and have a reason to have done it.
A reason to have done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So massive fan of relationship. I
Yeah.
think, what was challenging was having to pay $25,000 to get dumped,
Right.
right? And that just sucked.
Jesus Christ.
It's fucking ludicrous, and the length of time that took, and the hoops I had to jump through,
Yeah.
and the potential nonsense, and mine was no kids, no house.
Right.
It still took that long and that much money.
Yeah. I can't imagine it, man. But I think, first of all, you're going to become so big, that number will be nothing, right? That dollar amount.
Yeah.
If anything, just the pain associated with it, right, will I think always be something, and it'll always be. It's a part of you.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
a part of what made you who you
Absolutely,
are now.
100%.
So-
I can't look back and go, oh, I'm so glad I'm here. I wish that never happened.
Right.
Yeah, it was the catalyst. I can look at my life. The day of January 9th,
Mhm.
2015 was the day before she left, and
Yeah.
January 11th, 2015, which is the day that my life took off in this direction.
Insane.
Insane.
So you've learned so much
Mhm.
about marriage, and I'm trying to phrase this question in a way that's simple, but yet the answer can be cogent.
Sure.
If you could, first of all, do you want children?
Yes.
Okay. If you could not pass on fortune or material to your children,
Uh-huh.
only wisdom and advice,
Uh-huh.
what would you say?
First of all, go your own way.
Mm-hmm.
There are no rules.
Okay.
If it doesn't hurt somebody, there are no fucking rules.
Yeah.
So nothing's impossible other than playing for the Giants.
Okay.
Just own that like if you want to do it, go do it.
Yeah.
Oh, but I should. There are no fucking shoulds.
Mhm.
Just go do it.
Yeah.
You want to go live in a foreign country and have a business there, or just own your little surf hut? Go do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Follow your passion.
Yeah.
No matter what, follow your goddamn passion.
Yeah.
And figure out ways. Your passion, you can monetize it, especially you said with the internet. And
Yep.
with every passion can be monetized.
Yeah.
Or teach it. First and foremost,
Awesome.
learn to breathe.
Yeah.
You got to know how to meditate.
Okay.
You got to know how to take care of yourself, period. So I plan to have a pack of little fighters and girls too. You
Yeah.
got to know how to take care of yourself
Yeah.
physically. But I think first there are no rules. Every situation can be reframed.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter what happens to you, you have the ability to look at it as, okay, I have a choice now for how I use this.
Yeah.
Period fucking period. No matter how bad it was, you're not taking away from the bad, how awful it was. You always get to wake up the next day and go, okay, what do I want to do with this?
Yeah.
Do I want to let it break me, or do I want to use it to build something extraordinary?
Awesome.
And I think third, find love.
Okay.
Find it within yourself. Like, God, find compassion, find empathy, open your heart. Like, have an actual relationship with your own heart.
Yeah.
Period. That's just essential.
That's beautiful, man.
Thank you.
I love it. At the end of every podcast, I always encourage and give the guest the opportunity to sell your shit.
All right.
So, where sales is not evil, but what makes the world go around. So,
Sure.
or it's the cornerstone of all trade. So, what products or services are included in Man Uncivilized currently?
Yep.
And what are some of the projects in the future?
Okay. So first, we talked about meditation. I have a great 21-day online meditation course, which is all video-based. If you go to Teachable and look up 1 Day Stronger.
What is that?
Teachable is an online platform for classes.
Okay.
Like I uploaded 21 videos and pages.
Okay.
So basically, you just go in, sign up, and you can buy a course, which is me meditating live, not live, but I was live at the time.
Yeah.
As opposed to being like, oh, here's a picture of the ocean and some music.
Right.
Nope, my ass is in the fucking stool with you too.
Okay.
And it gets people from 0 minutes to 20 minutes in 3 weeks.
Okay.
And I think that is a massive. When you get to 20 minutes, all kinds of weird shit happens in your life, and I walk you through those 21 days.
Okay.
And from 3 minutes to 20.
Awesome.
There's that. Man Uncivilized right now in the current iteration is a 12-week course.
Okay.
For men only.
Okay.
And then a year-long continuation that's evergreen.
Okay.
So these guys then it's the 12-week sort of kickoff, and then the year program afterwards.
Okay.
We will have the event. I'm thinking of September, most likely on the East Coast for this next one.
What is the kickoff? Like a 3-day thing?
The event?
Yeah.
It's what I described as that like 3-day weekend
Okay.
of both primal skills. It's the meeting of the primal and divine in the physical form.
Okay.
So we're gonna have those conversations.
Yeah.
We're gonna be doing primal skills. We're probably gonna be doing a little bit of MMA.
Yeah.
We're gonna be because guys you gotta know how to be physical.
Yep.
And you have to know how to meditate.
Yeah.
And you have to know how to converse.
Yeah.
And whatever else I decide to come up with.
Yeah.
That's the most impactful 3 days of your life as a man.
Yes.
In a group of other empowered, inspired brothers.
Where is there a date set?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
And this will be the first.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm still looking for the venue. I'm thinking of upstate New York in September.
What is the youngest age that you will accept?
18.
Okay. So they have to be.
Yeah.
They have to be. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If people wanted to contact you.
Sure. Traver, Traver, at traverboehm.com. My last name is Boehm. I'm on Instagram as at Traver Boehm, TraverBoehm. That's where I spend a lot of my time. I have a weekly blog up on my website, and the whole Year to Live project is on my website.
Okay.
My book is Today I Rise. That's on Amazon. That's an easy find. And for women, I do coaching.
Yeah.
I coach both men and women. It's just not the masculine platform.
What is the name of the women's program?
There's no name to it.
There's no name. Okay.
Yeah, it's just my own coach. It's like just life coaching for them, or
Okay.
business coaching, whatever people are interested in.
Final parting words
Sure.
for people listening now, especially men.
Yeah. Masculinity is not toxic.
Okay.
Masculinity is amazing. There has never been a time in human history where men have been more needed than they are right now.
Yeah.
We are so needed to be healthy, to be present, to actually step up in our relationships, to actually fucking lead. The call is out. Like, men, you are needed. You are so fucking needed. We have been falling behind and falling behind and falling behind. And no, this isn't a competition, but the women of the world and the conscious men of the world are saying to all of you, step the fuck up. Get in the game. Quit looking for ways to numb yourself and hide from your pain, and actually walk into your strength, and you will bring so many men with you.
Yeah. Awesome, man.
Uncivilize yourself.
Yes. I am, as Traver was saying that, I was already having flashes of being in Viking war raiding armor and beating my chest and just going into unconquered lands and just doing shit. Even though that is not the point.
Right.
But still,
The spirit's there.
Yes, you cannot deny the need, and you cannot deny the sheer animal divine magnetism that is Traver Boehm.
Thank you.
Love having you, man. This was great.
Love you too.
Would you do this again and come back?
Absolutely.
All right,
I'd love to.
Until next time.